Welcome back to another episode of Stay on Target. I'm your host, Dustin. Thanks for tuning in with us tonight. We're excited to be here. We're excited you're here with us. And we're excited for what we're doing tonight, painting some Death Troopers. This is going to be our first time painting miniatures. And we're going to see how this goes. It's going to be fun. Next to me, I have, as always, the one, the only, Nick.
It's me.
What's up, Nick? How you doing, homie?
You can't see my face right now.
That's okay.
There it is. Hey, Dan. How are you doing?
He was trying to save the people
from
looking at you.
Right.
I'm just joking.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
I'm hideous.
No, you look fantastic. And next to Nick, our special guest for the night, we're super excited to have him on. He has a fantastic YouTube channel. He just started up recently. But he's the real professional here. We are just but the amateurs. It's the one, the only, Ryan. Thanks for coming on, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's fun being here.
Yeah. We've been trying to get him on for a little while now, and we're glad that we were able to make the time. And
yeah, it's been a year.
Yeah, it's been a year.
It's been at least a decade.
Feels like that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So you're the professional here. We are the amateurs. We are here to learn tonight.
Is there anything lower than amateur?
Noob,
That's
I guess.
what we are.
Would we be noobs?
Noobs.
Yeah.
First-time painters, we'll call it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so anyway, we're going to be having fun painting these things. We're going to have some conversation along the way, getting to know Ryan, getting to know his channel a little bit and what he does. And he's going to be hopefully directing us to be better than noobs. Hopefully by the end, we'll be... What would be the next tier for
amateurs?
Noob? Amateur again, like I said before?
We'll go amateurs.
Okay,
if you want
good.
to put yourself in a box, we can
right.
go amateurs.
Right. All right, cool. Well, let's just jump on into it, man. Where should we start?
So right now we have two Death Troopers. As you can see, they're already painted black.
Yes.
What we did is we assembled them, primed them, and then coated them in ultra matte. That's a varnish. Every paint we're going to be using is going to be liquid-based acrylics. So that's where we're at right now.
You kind of did some prep work.
Yep, did a little prep work beforehand. Based them. Based them. And that's where we're at.
Nice.
So starting off, what we're going to do is we're going to paint the ground or the base itself. Now what we're going for is the original scene in Rogue One, or the first scene on the planet. Fact checker, help me out.
It's Lamu.
Lamu.
I remember, thankfully.
So on the planet Lamu, we're going to start off. So Nick, if you could grab that paint all the way to the left there.
This one?
Yep. Give it a quick shake. So what we're going to be using for this is Vallejo Black-Brown German camo.
Yeah.
So starting off with
awesome.
your paints, you're going to want to drop one drop into the wet palette. Is what we'll be using.
drop.
Yeah, you explained the wet palette earlier. What's the point of the wet palette?
Sure. So acrylic paints like to dry quick. The wet palette is basically a sponge that you soak with water and then put cooking parchment paper over it. And the water comes up through the parchment paper and keeps your acrylic paints wet, keeping them workable for longer.
Okay, because if you were to not put them on that, they would dry out too quickly and you wouldn't
Dry
be able
out
to
pretty
use them.
quick. Yeah, you're looking at anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes if they're going to dry, depending on environment.
Yeah.
This will keep it for hours.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
And we will be asking Ryan some questions as we're going live tonight. So I'm gonna let him keep going though here so we can get started.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we're gonna be diving into some Star Wars questions and having fun talking about that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Keep
you're all right.
going, man.
Heck yeah.
Nick, you're going to be the
I'm going to be the dummy.
demo guy.
No, we said don't be the dummy all night.
Oh, okay. I'm dumb.
No, you're not. You are a Sith Lord.
I am.
Are you the ruler of the Death Troopers?
Maybe.
He's wearing black.
You'll never know.
You'll never. Who's the ruler of the Death Troopers?
I don't know. You tell me.
I felt a little cheated on this question. I'm just saying.
Honestly,
I asked the chat and it stumped him a little bit too.
I feel like it's a
so-
trick question.
Well, it shouldn't be.
Like that's an obvious answer, but it's not the real answer.
Well, I think you're just overthinking it.
I think you're underthinking it.
And
I
my,
never do that.
my apologies, fact checker. I did not introduce you. I'm sorry. I was so excited to get into the painting. Fact checkers with us tonight. We have other people in the studio as well when they're available to jump on in. So we're going to be talking to everybody and also the chat. I didn't even get to the chat yet, but if you want to shout out a few names, who's here with us tonight?
Yeah, no, we've been hanging out already, so they knew I was here.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, we've got our moderators on target, Hannah, Skylark. Zaramoto's also been hanging out. Sonia just joined in. Carla was here, and then Icy is also here, and he was getting all the trivia questions right. So
Nice.
he's on target, and I think they're excited to see how this goes.
I know. Yeah,
We
we
all
got
are.
we have some very artsy people. That doesn't sound very good, but I mean they're very artistic and they're very talented artists out in our group here.
Yeah.
And our community. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, fact checker. Fact checking my words for me. I appreciate it. So I think they'll be excited to learn from you, Ryan, as well. So, all right, cool. Yeah. Well, if you guys have any questions or anything as we're going, let us know. We'll try to answer them as we go. But yeah,
I'm actually here too.
Yeah.
Lurking in the background.
Right.
So I'm watching. I'm flying the ship. Things are going good so far. Let's see if we can keep it up. You guys look good. I like this camera.
I know, right? It's a nice camera.
That is really nice.
I'm gonna paint my hand.
Yeah, you put a mustache.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I was going to
my
introduce
gosh.
you, Dan. I knew you were working hard. Didn't want to throw you off there. But yeah, Dan the pilot, always
Yep.
killing it. So cool. Well, let's get back to what were you
Let's
saying
do it.
before, Ryan?
Yeah, we're just going to paint
A
the
drop.
base. We got a drop of your paint in there. It's a dark
Yes.
black brown color. Nick, what you're going to want to start
Sweet.
off to is just dip your brush in some water
Dip it in the water.
and go ahead and wipe the excess off in the paper towel.
On the paper towel.
There you go.
Nice.
Now you're going to mix a drop of water into that black brown color.
All right, I think it already did that.
Here,
Yeah.
can I just move this down slightly?
Just a little bit.
Just so they can
There
kind
it
of
is,
see
right
a little
there.
bit more what you're doing there.
Give it a good mix.
Good, man.
Is that okay for him to be painting over that wet palette
Yep,
there?
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yep. You want to add a little bit more water to that. So what you're going for is a consistency kind of like a gas station coffee creamer. Mm-hmm. You want it really thin. You want to be able to flow. So if
Yeah,
you do
yeah,
need to
yeah.
add more
I
water.
like the specific there.
Gas station coffee
Gas
creamer.
station coffee creamer.
Most people use moist milk or something like that. Which
Right.
Some people aren't appreciative of language, but we use coffee creamer. So you can add more there. And you don't have to be too precise on the viscosity of your paint right now because we're
Right.
just slapping it on the ground.
Okay.
This is always the best process. It's
Right.
brain dead. You don't have to think about it.
That's perfect for Nick. I'm just kidding. I should
be
I should
nice.
actually be doing this.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, you put out a video not too long ago on your channel about bases. I
Yep.
thought was really cool. I didn't even think. What was the stuff you were using to build the bricks?
So it's polystyrene. It's just like plasticard, but it comes in dowels.
Yeah.
And those were square dowels. They come in round and all kinds. And you don't necessarily have to use the thick bricks like I do. They make flat plasticard sheeting you can use and cut to shape. You can use cork. You can use cardboard. Guys use all different stuff to
Gotcha.
make cobblestone bases.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Man, that's awesome. I thought that was so cool because that base, I mean, professional look. I thought you bought that. I thought people just bought those bases, not made them. But
Yeah.
after seeing that, I was like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I got a comment. It was from a younger guy, and he's like, it's interesting to see how they did everything before 3D printing, which is getting lost in miniatures these days because everyone's 3D modeling everything.
Right.
So I kind of like hanging on to the old crafty ways of doing things and making your own unique bases or unique terrain or miniatures. So
Oh yeah, there's an art to it, and
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, 3D printing is great in certain avenues, I think, but for fine detail work, stuff like that, it's nice to have that character with a
Yeah.
handmade.
yeah, it has a human element to it that you just don't
Exactly.
get in 3D printing anymore
Right.
unless someone purposely sculpts it like that. So yeah.
Right.
So Nick, just
Nice.
slap her on there, man.
Slap it on. All right.
Slap it on.
I was waiting for the next
Yeah,
step.
try not to get any on the feet if you can.
Right.
Get
And
the
you're
coffee
just-
creamer on there.
Yeah, man. Coffee creamer.
Now in the movie, you'll notice the soil. The location's actually in Iceland, in southern Iceland.
Ooh.
But you'll notice the beach almost looks black, but there's tinges of brown on it when the sun hits it. So we can, if you want, we can darken it down with the wash later, but right now we're just getting a base coat on.
Right.
I like the detail that you know even about the soil and the ground on the planet.
And
from
the
where they
actual
filmed it.
location.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
It was a
Nice
lot of
touch.
reference. So when you're doing something and you're trying to recreate
Yeah.
a scene from a movie or miniature or whatever, it's good to do some research, either historical or movie or whatever you're going for. And it gives you a more realistic effect.
Right, and it immerses you even more. So when
Yeah.
you see it, you don't even recognize the details because it fits so naturally with
Yeah.
where it came from.
Right.
That's genius. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, just a little bit of research. I mean, the artists in the chat will know. I mean, when you're doing any kind of drawing or painting, always having a reference on hand, to compare your work to or go off of is always desirable.
Nice. You know a lot about Death Troopers.
I love Death Troopers.
Yeah.
I love Death Troopers.
Is that one of your? Is it one? Would you say that's one of your favorite Stormtrooper?
Yeah, yeah.
Variants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hands down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're like the special forces.
Yeah, yeah. And their armor. I mean, before Star Wars came out with Stormtrooper variant 8,201.
Right.
Right, yeah.
You guys were up there in the originals for the newer stuff.
Right.
So
I'd say this is one of my favorite new designs, though, that Disney actually came out with. It still fits with the old school design.
Yeah.
But I did like some of the elements they added to make them more the black. I mean, black's just cool.
Yeah.
Night, camo.
yeah, and the encryption and the voice that they've got makes them sound even more menacing.
Oh yeah, you don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, have you heard about this?" And that would make them way less intimidating.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Instead of just the garbled sounds that came through.
Yeah.
I do like the shore troopers too.
Yeah. Shore troopers are pretty cool looking. I like them. They're kind of I guess you'd call it like quick response force Marines
Yeah.
of the Imperial.
But I mean, if you're gonna go for the best, these are the guys.
Right,
to go for.
yeah.
Death troopers.
Top tier. All right, I think I got it all.
How we doing, Nick?
Pretty good.
Looking black brown.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Are
Looks
the feet still
covered.
clean?
Yeah. Looks like it.
Oh, you painted the feet.
Oh no, I painted the whole
no.
thing brown.
How did we do this? We look away for 1 second.
I remember there being okay. So there's a couple others, and I don't have the reference photo on hand, but that little pouch on the right there. You see that little one?
Yeah.
So that one's also, if you look in some reference images, they have it's a dark brown leather that's been overdyed with black. And it's really hard to pick up in the overcast scenes of the first scene in Rogue One, but there are reference photos you
So
can
you're-
find online.
You're saying this one right here?
A little bit to the left of that.
That
That one
one?
right there.
Okay.
Yep. And if you need, you can put your peepers on.
Right? I might have to.
Yeah. So anyone who's new to miniature painting, these things are less than 3 centimeters tall.
Yeah.
So that when you get into the fine details, magnification, eyewear is almost a necessity unless you've got super good eyesight.
You look like Jordy.
What?
Now you look like a character from Star Wars. You're like a Wookiee with goggles on.
Or Back to the Future?
Oh my gosh.
Great Scott!
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is not.
Not gonna lie, this
scale
is
of
making
size.
great
Yeah, it's-
TV now. This is I'm really excited about this shot.
This is what they tuned in for.
Oh dude. More of that, please.
Oh my gosh. That's the thumbnail right there.
Right there. Well,
Now his peepers are gonna be peeping into the shot.
Right? Oh my goodness. That's funny.
Pretty cool actually.
Skylark said the Death Troopers are so intimidating.
Oh.
And agreed with y'all what you said earlier about technology can never replace real artisans.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
Right?
that's true.
You can try.
Yeah, there's a ton. If anyone's interested in miniature painting, I can give you guys a bunch of links to some of my favorite channels and guys who make terrain and paint miniatures. If the chat's interested, we could put those up after the show.
Well, I mean, I think that's a perfect segue to say if you really want to learn more and more to come, go subscribe right now to Grimm's Tower on YouTube. That's where Ryan's been putting out. He just started it not too long. How long ago did you start your YouTube channel?
A little over a month ago.
A little over a month ago. So it's brand new. You can be one of the first subscribers. He's growing quickly. And definitely head on over there. Tell him that we sent you. And have fun learning stuff, because I've already learned a lot just by watching your videos. And I'm excited to see more. The quality is awesome. So
Thanks.
if you want to keep learning more about miniatures, the cool thing is tonight they get to learn a lot, but they'll continue to learn as they grow with your channel as well.
Definitely. And I always try to keep an open door policy. If there's any feedback that anyone has for any of my videos, go ahead and post them in the comments, leave them, DM me, whatever we need to do, because I'm always looking to make the experience for viewers more attainable, more easy to understand, more easy to grasp.
Right.
There's his channel on screen now.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that's what it looks like when you search it.
Yep.
And you can see it'll probably play the music, which I gotta pause.
Oh no, we're getting copyright strike by him.
But I'm not gonna preview all of it, but you can see some greatness here.
Yeah, that was that bass I was talking about, which was super cool.
Yeah. It's crazy.
The amount of detail you go into, but it still felt attainable. Like after watching it and you showing how to do it, I was like, oh, that doesn't feel as intimidating as seeing the final product.
Right. So in any of the steps, and especially in miniatures, you'll see a lot of professional miniature painters or miniature sculptors that get online, and they sort of have this idea that the absolute best is now the norm, and it's not. And the great thing about miniatures is that you're doing it by yourself. You can get it to whatever standard you want, or that you want to play with, or if you want to display them, do it. It's your own journey. It's your own art form. You do it however you want, and everyone else can be damned what they say.
Right. You want to back up just...
You guys want
No.
some music in the background too?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. As long as you can still do
detail.
it. Yeah, sorry.
Play a
Yeah,
little-
music's
I think I
good.
got it.
Music's always good. But, well, while we're on the subject, I don't know if you need to... Just stop me if you need to guide him on anything. But I'll just keep asking you questions now that we're on the topic of your channel. What was the idea as far as the name, Grimm's Tower?
So you have the Brothers Grimms that are old 19th century authors, I believe. They made a lot of fairy tales. They're Germanic. They're a lot darker. Disney's adapted a few, Sleeping Beauty being one, Cinderella being another.
They gone a little darker with some other ones, though, too.
Yeah,
like,
they have.
Some of the darker... I'm drawing a blank now, of course, on some of the darker ones, but... Sorry,
Yeah,
continue.
Sleeping Beauty, if you read Brothers Grimm, the original tale, it's fairly dark.
Is it?
Cinderella is as well. I mean, when the stepsisters try to put on the slippers, they're breaking their own toes off. And blood's running out of the slipper. So they're pretty dark as they are. And then
Disney Disneyfied them a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So they're great authors. And then the tower is just Grimm. Grimm's also the character that's in the YouTube channel, and his tower is where he does all his things. So
That's
Grimm's Tower.
That's perfect, dude. And so far, you've made miniatures based off of a certain. It's a game.
It's a game,
correct? Right. Which is
So I do tabletop skirmish wargaming. My favorite game being Mordheim, which is a post-apocalyptic fantasy horror game, and it's an awesome vibe. It's an awesome setting. It's a horrific world. It's grimdark.
fits the theme.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I try to theme my channel around that, and I also try to theme the miniatures I do are either sculpted by individual sculptors or they're non-Games Workshop. They're small-time creators, and I try to focus on those guys, mainly 3D printed. Some sculpted by hand, but we'll get to those later down the road. But yeah.
Wow, that's
Nice.
cool stuff,
Yeah.
man. Some, you have anything in the works right now that you could tease us with, or you want to? You can hold it back. I don't want to go too far, but
I'm currently working on, I don't know if you've ever heard of wayside shrines.
no.
So in Christianity, if you go to Europe, they're huge over in Europe. You'll see along the road every so often, you'll see a shrine to a saint or to Jesus or so on and so forth. And they'll also have shrines within cities. And in Venice, Italy, you'll see a ton of these all over Venice. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is a wayside shrine inside of Mordheim.
Okay.
That's still dedicated to a god that hasn't been absolutely corrupted and destroyed by the horrors that go on in Mordheim. So that's what I'm currently working on right now. So we're filming. We've already filmed about half of it. And I got to go through post-production. And
Nice.
There's a lot to it, man.
It's a lot.
But that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it
Yeah,
already.
it'll be a good video. I like it.
Nick, did you need some instruction?
Yeah, well, I think I got it.
Let me see. I want to see it.
You might not be able to.
Yeah.
You want these?
It's on that pouch right
Yeah.
there.
I might have gotten a little
On
heavy-handed.
the smaller one or the bigger
The
one?
smaller one.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can see. Dude, yeah, that looks. It's got a little bit of shine.
Yep.
Shine to it.
That
So-
looks good, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The paints are going to dry sort of like a satin finish,
Yeah.
and that'll be different. But that's fine because if you look at leather in real life, it has more of a satin finish. And what we're doing is we're doing just a straight 1-to-1, getting it ready for tabletop, getting it ready just to play. It's not going into art competition.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. So what do you want to do next? We can do all the metallics, or we can do the really hard stuff, which are the eyes and the helmet.
Yeah. Let's do the metallics.
Okay.
We'll save the hard stuff for last.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a few metallics on Death Troopers. We're gonna have, if you want to hand me the aluminum,
Which one?
that should be the center one. I think that's.
And just also
Yep, that one.
the aluminum versus the acrylic. You gave us a few warnings, kind of about, or a warning about
Yep.
that using different things. Did you want to explain that? a
So
little bit?
when you're painting on your wet palette, you want to keep your wet palette exclusively for just your regular acrylic paints. Actual true metal metallics, like the one there, actually has real aluminum flakes in it, and if you put it in your wet palette, it can ruin your wet palette.
Yep.
So you always want to try to use a dry palette when you're working with true metallics, is what this is called.
All right. Same thing. A little drop on there.
Yep.
On there.
1-2 drops. Here, I'll get these out.
Yeah.
So just 1-2 drops. And what you're going to notice is that this is going to flow way
Like crazy?
better than the,
Yeah.
than the other acrylic. So less is more with this stuff.
Sweet.
And you're probably going to want your peepers for this part.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, your Death Trooper's going to turn into
Right.
Tin Man. from
Tin Man.
Wizard of Oz.
Now we've gone into the Wizard of Oz.
Oh man!
All right. Now look
If
at my
I only had a
reference.
brain.
Yep. So you'll notice he has his different buttons, and he has his belt buckle, and then he has also his helmet, which will be a different color. So we're working with a really bright aluminum right now.
Yeah.
So what you'll see is on his, I think it's E11 Delta, is his blaster for the guy
Right.
you're painting. He'll have it on the end of his blaster. He'll also have it on his belt buckle.
Yeah.
And then we'll use dark aluminum and silver for the other bits he has.
Okay.
Do you get
Sweet.
even down to the fine detail, like the detail of like the scoring at the end of the blaster? That's what you're talking about.
Yep.
That's cool, man.
Which will be the ones I'm currently painting. They'll have all that. And I'll use multiple layers of washes to achieve that heat going on at the end of the barrel. But that'll be...
You look fantastic.
Thank you.
nice.
I look like I'm.
So
You know.
here's a reference for your belt buckle.
Okay. Sweet. That's what I needed. I was like, what am I gonna do?
Oh yeah, reference points. Yeah.
My belt buckle.
Belt buckle. Well, while we were talking about your channel and everything there, Ryan, I was I know it might be a little difficult, but just a quick backstory to Mordheim. If you could give us just kind of a brief summary as to what it is, that'd be awesome.
Sure. So Mordheim was created by Games Workshop in 1999, and it was actually created with the Y2K panic that was going on at the time.
Oh, wow.
So everyone thought the world was going to end, computers were going to shut down, and Games Workshop had the idea, it's like, why don't we make a post-apocalyptic world within the Warhammer Fantasy universe?
Yeah. That makes sense. I remember that time.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Were we just talking about that the other
24
day?
years?
We were. Yeah. Man, that's nuts.
So the city, the whole world is in the Empire. The Empire of Man is in a civil war between three factions. Mordheim is a really prosperous trade city and is becoming corrupt and decadent and flippant in the face of the religion of the Empire. So the god sends down a giant asteroid and smites the city. But the asteroid turns out to be a radioactive hellball that turns everyone into flesh-eating freaks. And
As they do.
chaos ensues, yeah. So that's Mordheim. So the radioactive asteroid actually breaks into shards called Weirdstone. And this Weirdstone is extremely valuable to wizards and alchemists. And so all these war bands, these mercenaries and unhuman creatures are flocking into Mordheim to get a hold of this stuff and try to sell it for money. So these war bands are encountering each other within this already cursed city and then trying to kill each other over this weird stone.
What kind of properties does the weird stone do? Like what grants you special abilities or like augments your physical appearance?
It can heal the lame. It can turn base metals into gold.
Okay.
It can do everything. But the thing is that it's basically pure chaos. So for every time you experiment with it, you're never going to get the same results.
Oh.
So while it might heal a lame man one time, it might make him grow 18 tentacles out of his forehead the next time.
Right?
So you never know.
I want to see that now.
Yeah.
I want to see this.
Yeah.
Well, look at Nick.
It's me.
He grows the peepers out of his head.
I got the peepers.
Oh my
So yeah,
god.
it's a great game, and it's the rules are for wargaming and skirmish gaming. It's really simple in comparison to other games that you have. It has such great character for a game. It's probably one of the best Games and Workshop's ever made.
There's a lot of in-depth. You can kind of get lost in the world. It's pretty believable as far as that stuff goes.
Super believable if you're into that kind of grimdark setting.
Which we are.
Right. And the
Which
crazy
we
thing, though, is it hasn't been supported in years, in like almost a decade, I think, over a decade.
That's crazy, man.
So the whole fan community has come up and supported this game through, you can find everything on broheim.net, and created all different factions, all different scenarios that you can go download for free. And I
Nice.
think that's a good allegory, because what we're seeing with other pop culture icons that we used to love is that we don't need a giant corporation to tell us what is and what isn't.
Yeah.
You know, the fan base can make up their own stories, their own world, and carry it from there.
Yeah, I mean I was just thinking the same thing. So you just read my mind there, even with the how Star Wars, it was for a long time when we weren't getting a ton of movies or anything, kind of the dark ages back in like late 80s, 90s. I mean, there was still some great stuff coming out, but I think it was because of the fans. The fans really took off with it.
Yep.
And they just couldn't get enough of it. So it sounds very similar, Mordheim being driven by the fans more now, because that story, it's the story, man. The story, when you have a rich, diverse story that like you can really get into, that's an actual good story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that inspires your imagination. That's the other thing. That's what I like about your channel. That's what I like about even Mordheim there. That's cool. It inspires your imagination, which Star Wars, I would say, used to do a lot more and still does. Just not in as recent years. I just feel like that's one of the elements they've been missing. We've talked about it a few times on this channel. I know, Dan, you've talked about it as well. That they're missing that element of creativity.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody grew up in the sandbox, out back playing. I want to be this character. I want to be this character. Coming up with your own stories. So it sounds like Mordheim's doing the same thing. So yeah, it's kind of the state of Star Wars in some ways as well. So
Yeah. And that's great when you see the fans. Like Disney might own the IP, but they don't own the IP. Like the fans own the IP,
Right.
And we can do whatever the hell we want with it.
Yep.
So which is great. It's a promise and kind of the new dark ages that we're experiencing with Star Wars right now. But at the same time, like we can just ignore that.
yeah,
And this
yeah.
is not part of our canon, which is awesome.
Yeah, and for people that, if it does inspire creativity, the new stuff too, that's great too. But that's what it should. Anything like that should inspire creativity.
Yeah.
And your imagination to run free.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's a great point, man. So that's a great telling though of Mordheim. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mordheim. That's cool. I'm gonna have to get into that more. I did not know about it, honestly, until you told me about it in your channel.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped to look into the lore. I'm always looking for good lore stuff. So that's gonna be a fun one to get into.
Yeah, it's a great setting, and I'm more of a, like, I love sci-fi. Like Star Wars is, when I think of sci-fi, I think of Star Wars. Like I absolutely love Star Wars. But when I go to fantasy, it's Tolkien would be first,
Ooh,
and then
yes.
Warhammer right after that. And Tolkien's kind of like you treat it with a little bit more reverence.
Yes.
But Warhammer's totally tongue-in-cheek, and it's kind of made to be played around with and to kind of joke around about and not be taken
Brother,
so
I am
seriously.
pinned here.
Right,
Brother,
yeah,
I am
exactly.
Reindeer. My face is my shield.
Exactly.
Heresy.
Right.
Yeah.
Cease
Exactly.
your heresy.
Yeah.
All right.
So you got the helmet done.
Yeah, I got the helmet.
dude.
So now you
and the
just got to
belt.
do the end of the blaster.
So, like, how much of it? Like just the tip
Yeah,
of it?
I would
Like
just
back to that notch?
Yep. So you got your reference photo right there.
Okay, sweet. See, that's what I thought it was, but I was like, man, is that actually it?
Yep. And if
Gotta
you're worried, because if you look at photos of the E11 Delta,
Right.
you'll notice that paint isn't totally chipped off. It's aluminum color, and then it kind of fades into a black. And we can get into, if you guys want to get into more detailed, advanced techniques, we can get into glazing. I can show you kind of how to make that fade.
That would be cool.
Yep.
That's
We'll
the
have to do
real
that.
fine detail.
It is.
I feel like we're at the get the paint on the miniature
Yeah,
the right
and then
way
you put in the
stage.
details.
So what this stage you would reference it would be called just base coating. This is the base
base
coating
coat.
step. So we'll get into washes later, and then we'll get into maybe glazing later if we get some time, or if Nick's not burnt out by then.
Oh, I'm not burning out. I'm having fun.
You enjoy
Yeah,
it?
dude. Nick likes this kind. You like this kind of stuff, right, Nick?
Yes.
Some kind of detail work, and I mean that's why you're drawn to Lego as well. That kind of
Yes.
creativity, instructions there. But this is a little bit different, so it's a fun avenue to go down.
It's very fun.
And you have a pretty steady hand, Nick. I'm
Yeah,
impressed.
he's got a
I'm
surgeon's hand.
shaking like a leaf.
Really? No.
I'm so
Oh, just hold it. Hold it.
Oh yeah, hold where you're gonna be painting it at there.
right there.
Just trying to focus.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Can you go?
I keep
moving in frame.
yeah.
There we go.
I keep moving it too.
Can you move it? Look at the thing there, dude.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh.
That looks cool already.
Dude, that looks
Right.
It'll cut back to a black shot.
Okay.
nice. Thanks, Dan. Dan's always running the pilot. Running the ship amazingly. I can say words.
Well, we have a few comments.
Yeah. Sorry, just jump in if we're missing anything.
Well, I mean, it's good stuff. I don't want to interrupt. Hunter said the Warhammer minis are so cool, and probably already have a few new subscribers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
And yeah, take a break. Just joined in too.
What's up? Take a break. Thanks for jumping in, man. We're having fun here, kind of low key, but we're learning a lot. Nick is you're killing it, man.
I'm getting into it.
I'm glad you're doing it, not me right now. to be
Right,
honest
yeah.
with you.
Dustin's up.
Dustin, you can do it.
I don't know. We'll see. If you want to see shaking like a leaf,
We'll be
That's why
absolutely
I-
silent too, and we'll judge you.
that's, yeah, it's just so dead silence while I'm doing it,
Right.
so I feel even worse.
Yeah, if any of the chat has any questions about anything regarding paints or materials or tools, speak up.
Yeah, this is the time to ask when you have an actual professional on.
Do you use airbrush? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the black that you see in the varnish to make it ultra matte was actually all airbrushed right before the show.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took some prep work even just to get on, which I appreciate. Thank you so much for doing that.
No worries.
Right.
It took, and we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for coming on
Yeah,
the
thanks
show.
for having me.
It's been it's been a long time coming, and we hope to see more of you in the future if you're so willing to
Yeah,
come
we'll
back
get some
on
more.
the show.
We'll get some more collaborations going.
Oh yeah.
All right.
But speaking of Star Wars, going back to that a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because you said you did enjoy Star Wars and certain elements. I was going to ask you, like, what got you into Star Wars? Like, what was the first thing you got the taste of in Star Wars?
Star Wars itself.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you can go back to like earlier memories, like like a movie you saw
I think
first. Or,
my first memory of Star Wars was at my grandparents watching it, and I was like, "This is awesome!"
yeah,
Like blasters and fighters in space.
Yes.
And, yeah. Giant walking rugs.
somebody get this walking carpet out of my way.
Yeah. So I mean, it was so, for the time, it was so, especially as a kid, it was so like awesome.
Yeah,
Epic, And as a kid, everything's epic, but even then, it seemed even more so.
Right.
There's something about it that stands out so much more for some reason than almost anything else when it comes to sci-fi space.
Yep.
It captures the fun and the imagination. Because
Yeah.
all you can think about after that a lot of the time is like, man, I want to be in that world.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Do you remember which movie it was?
I don't.
Hard to remember. I know
It's really hard
I
to
don't
remember.
remember which one I saw first. to
I
be honest.
really remember liking the first scene in Empire Strikes Back.
Yep.
I'm
Yes.
lost. That was.
Oh God. I used to watch that over and
Yeah,
over
when
again.
the AT-ATs came out,
Yep.
I was like, heck yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. A little
But
Yeah.
I can't remember what movie was the first one I ever saw. But Empire Strikes Back was definitely the first impression that stuck with me.
Nice, dude.
So,
Yeah. Heck yeah.
yeah.
I'm seeing I do see a
have a
question
Yeah,
question
we've
here.
got a few
Ryan?
questions.
Oh yeah, go ahead, fact checker. I asked a question. Let's let the chat ask some questions.
Sweet, yeah, a few. Hunter said, Ryan, what preferred brand of paint do you like using? He enjoys Citadel's and Reaper's paints.
Okay, yeah. Reapers make some decent paint. Citadels make some decent paint. I use personally Vallejo because if you look at cost per milliliter of paint, Vallejo makes it's cheaper, and I find the consistency with a lot of Vallejo paints. They're slightly more consistent than Citadel in my experience. Citadel has some great colors, some great paints that I use and I have, but overall, I just like Vallejo better. They're not the best. They're a good intermediate paint range, but that's what I prefer using. I will say with a note, the Vallejo metal colors, which you'll see here.
Do you want me to grab it?
Yeah. If you want to show it on screen.
Yeah.
Pop in here real Nick.
Yeah.
These, if you're looking for true metallic metal, are the absolute best ones you'll find on the market. And I don't care what anybody says, these things are like going like butter. And one coverage, one coat coverage.
Really, one coat.
That's it.
That's pretty rare in a lot of.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you got to put like 2 or 3 coats on.
Especially in like a water-based acrylic paint range. But those are amazing. So those are worth every penny. I don't care how much they charge for those. I'd still buy them.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Great question.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for asking, guys.
Yep.
And then Zaramoto asked, Ryan, do you play Magic or do any figures for Magic?
I don't. I'm actually, I got a hate-love relationship with Magic players because every Saturday when I go on to do more time,
There's
all
a
the
bunch of
tables
Magic
are full of
players.
Magic players. I'm like,
You're like, give us some space, guys.
yeah.
Put some deodorant on.
No, but they're
Wow.
Hey, I know.
Shots fired.
Some of my friends are Magic players, and they say the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
yeah. No, nothing. I love the Magic player community because A, they're consistent and they're always bringing business into small gaming stores, which are extremely hard business to keep running, especially with everything being able to be ordered online. And supporting your local game shop is just awesome. So I got a lot of love for the Magic community players.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's cool how they've kind of certain things like that have blown up again. Like it used to be such a
Niche,
very kind of small crowd in a lot of ways, but it was always popular, but kind of in certain communities. Now I feel like these things are getting more popular. I actually enjoy that that's and people get to pick. It's not just like one thing. Like you don't just do D&D anymore. I'm not saying nothing against it, I guess, but there's so many different avenues you can go.
Well, there's a lot of like if I was in grade school and I'm like, I like Star Wars. I like playing Warhammer Fantasy.
right?
I'd get my underwear pulled over my head and then my head stuffed in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So there's a ton more social acceptance right now for what used to be considered like nerd stuff, which is great because now everyone can just flaunt their nerdiness out in the world, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so much stuff that was missed by kids because they were bullied or, you know, condescended upon for having an interest in something, which is sad.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
especially when those things can inspire, I think, good, and it can inspire you to be a better person.
Yeah.
A lot of them are heroic tales.
right.
That's why we connect with them, because we want to be better.
Yeah.
We want to be more like those characters.
Yeah. It speaks to something deep within everyone, I think.
Yeah, exactly. How you doing there, Nick?
I think I'm done with that. Is there anything else I need
Done
to
with
hit?
the metallics?
Let me. Oh yeah, dude.
Is there any other spots I need to go over?
Take a gander. I don't think so. I think these guys.
Yeah.
So if you want, you can do some distressing, which is super fine detail.
Oh boy.
So you don't have to.
We could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
So
not?
he's got his pistol on the side, and you'll notice a lot of the weapons have a lot of battle damage just from diving in the dirt.
Yeah.
So the easiest way I would do that is just take your fine detail brush. You can put it in the aluminum, and what I would do before you actually start painting is dab it on a towel once or twice.
Here, wait. Bring that into frame a little bit, just so they can. I just want to make sure our viewers are getting a full experience.
There you go. Get that excess off, and then use the side of your brush and not the tip, and try to find like the edges of that pistol that you think would be in contact with dirt or rocks or
Peepers on.
Papers.
people's engaged.
Yeah, engaged. Well, cool, man. Let me know if there's any other questions. Fact checker.
There is. Well, there's agreement on maybe the sweaties and some of the stores,
I
but,
see Hunter saying with the no deodorant thing.
but you definitely have to support, those local places.
Oh yeah, for sure. Small businesses, man.
Yeah, back on the Magic, Zaramoto said Ben and her love supporting their local board game store, but she said Ben has dabbled with Warhammer, and she thinks he might get back into it.
Yeah, you should. It's and depending on what type of Warhammer he's into, whether he's into 40K or if he's into Warhammer Fantasy. Fantasy just dropped Old World, which is huge, and it's becoming, if you're into the competitive scene, is really taking over the competitive space right now.
Oh no.
It fell off.
So that's going to happen.
Yep. Yeah, I got a little too much on there.
Yep.
Was trying to take some off.
So Old World just dropped on the fantasy side. 40K is doing great. Lots of people are starting 40K like somebody we know here.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I think you're so excited as well to learn these techniques.
It is.
That's cool.
Yeah,
man.
so I got way too much on that.
Oh, that's right. So that's why we got, if you want to reach and grab the black, this
Black.
is what's great about having Death Troopers here is because they're so easy to
Yeah.
correct. Right?
If you get black.
Yeah, if you get silver on something, just paint black right over it.
Yeah.
Yep, wet palette.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
Is that the same black as before, or
No,
oh,
it's a different
a different one.
a little
Okay.
bit darker.
Just a little bit. Dark.
Well, it's
Don't
good.
want to mix them.
It's good you made a mistake because then we can show everybody how to
easy,
fix it.
Easy to correct. And like I said, if you're just the kind of person that wants to get your Death Troopers on the table and play some Legion, who cares if we got silver?
Right.
No one's going to see it,
Right.
you know?
Nobody's really gonna grab their peepers on the table and be like,
Yep.
"You
What
messed
is that?"
up. You messed
Yeah,
up.
you messed up. Shame.
Shame.
For shame.
Shame.
So that's the other awesome thing about miniature painting and art at any level is that you can not paint them and still play with these guys, right? You just leave them gray, that's fine and no one cares. Or you can go all the way up to the competitive space where they have international painting competitions. So you can take the art as far as you want,
Right.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
that's so cool.
You're doing good for your first mini,
Right.
right? I wish my first one was that good.
I mean, it is mostly black, so.
I know. I was gonna say I'm very appreciative that you chose this miniature to go with. A, we love Star Wars.
Yep.
Right.
B, it's mostly black. so
Right. It's mostly black. It's super easy to do.
so we
correction.
can correct things. Yeah.
Yep.
Instead of like a very
There you go.
what's been the most difficult one for you to ask you that question? If there's any that stand out to you as being super difficult.
I haven't had any ones that have really posed any challenges. I guess my most difficult one is I made a halfling scout, which you can't find on my channel. If I get some time, I'll post it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to paint that to a competition piece, and that was about a year ago. And I spent 45 or 46 hours on just that mini.
Oh my goodness.
Painting
Did you say
nonstop.
46 hours?
Yep, yep.
Wow.
That's a lot.
So competition painters will spend up to 200 on one mini.
Less water.
Seriously, that
Seriously.
much?
Yeah.
Wow,
For the
I had
big
no idea.
competitions. Yeah.
I mean, it
like
makes
said,
sense. You
can-
want it to be perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's perfect. It's competition. You got to beat everybody else.
Yep. And I mean, I'm talking like
Man.
gradations in color and shade within
Oh,
like
gosh.
a half of a millimeter.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the transitioning colors and shades. It's absolutely incredible.
Those are the judges are the people that are pulling out the peepers
Yep.
and judging every single detail.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of
Right.
the level of detail they get to. Done with your metallics?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think so.
All right, man.
I'll forget about the weathering for now.
For now.
For now, hey, that's okay. Mistakes are made and you learn from it.
That's right. Maybe in a different episode we can go over some different techniques on how to get the battle damage on weapons.
Dude, that'd be sweet.
All right.
So-
Yeah. So what's next?
You ready for your peepers?
Oh boy. My little green guys.
That's right. So I got two different types of green up
Okay.
there. So the one that you just picked up is probably more true to what you'll see in the movie Rogue One.
Okay.
The other one is a brighter green, which I've painted the guy with the DLT-19 with, but it's easier to see when you're looking at the mini.
Right.
So whatever you want to do, it's up to you. Pick whatever color you want.
Yeah, we'll just go with the more accurate one.
All right. I'm going to give your brush a good clean here.
Sweet.
And Ryan, we have another question
Sure.
from Skylark asking, as an artist, what is your favorite medium type of art to create?
I used to do a lot of ink, sketch with pencil and then ink over it, sort of like comic book, but I had my own style to do it, and I actually quit when AI came out. I haven't drawn since.
Really?
So this is now my new medium.
Wow.
So yeah, to do a piece, it took me, depending, like all my tattoos I drew, and my tattoo artist just put them on me. That's the only time I draw now, is when I'm gonna get a new tattoo.
Wow.
So
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you have some deep connections to them.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But
That's
it's-
cool.
It's like you spend 4 or 5 hours drawing on a piece, right? Which is fine if you thoroughly enjoy that. By all means, do it. It's your,
Right.
But
Because like we said, that nothing can really beat
no, No.
and that human element like
Right.
you were talking about. You can't replicate that.
right. But for efficiency, what I takes 4 or 5 hours to do, AI does it in literally 16 seconds.
Seconds. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, AI can't do this though.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Not yet.
Not until,
Knock on wood.
yeah, not until Skynet kicks in. Just show 3D printing, making them.
But I don't
I'm
think,
joking.
no matter how pervasive AI gets, that it'll ever take away that artistic desire for humans to do art
Right.
on any level.
Because there's still an element of soul to it.
Yep.
That's kind of a weird way to put it, but like you're putting kind of a
Put your
piece of
soul into it.
putting a piece of yourself, all the dedication, the time, and the creativity into it, and that shines through. I feel like
Yeah, it definitely does.
more than what AI, and I feel like a lot of AI stuff, it's pulling. It's basically searching the web for all
I
of
feel
the
like
different
that's what it
things,
does.
and
It's
then
just
and then it
referencing
just
things.
meshes it together in its own way.
Yep.
Yep.
Kind of, but it's still referencing everything else that humans have created.
Right, exactly.
So,
Just all AI is just a conglomeration of human creation.
right.
So,
Is there AI in Mordheim?
no.
Okay.
No, there's no AI in Warhide.
There
That's
is
the reason it got there.
There's technically AI in Star Wars, but I feel like the way that they do it
Right.
is more like a grittier, like base function to it.
Right.
It's not
Like
an
a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool. It's not
yeah.
an overall like, oh, we got to watch out for it.
Right. Skynet. It seems like Star Wars universe has figured out that AI conundrum.
Yeah, they don't implement it in other ways that they shouldn't, that they know they shouldn't
Right.
anyway.
Yep.
They still have humans running things or humanoids
Yeah.
running things.
They saw Terminator.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh man, cool. How you feeling, Nick?
Real shaky.
You're looking great.
Gotta get
So
a
if
good
Dustin
angle
shook
on
the
this
table
one.
right now, would it really throw you off?
Yeah, it would.
I'm
I'd
trying
be like,
not
I don't
to
know.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Stop
new
breathing.
version of Stormtrooper. green helmeted Death Troopers.
Right.
Hey, that'd be cool. I honestly kind of thought instead of being all black, because that's not necessarily the best camouflage for every situation.
Right.
Like I thought they'd almost need like a active camo situation, like a shine through.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna pull that out at one point in Rogue One, and that they're like when they want to be intimidating and shown, they switch to the black, but then otherwise they could just go to camouflage like
Like the Predator.
the Predator basically. Yeah.
Pretty dope.
But I guess
Your blaster would give you away though.
yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to Star Wars a little bit in movies, do you have a favorite Star Wars movie, Ryan?
It's probably. I'm gonna catch flack for this.
No,
It's
dude.
gotta be Rogue One. Rogue One's probably my favorite.
Nice, dude. No, hey, I'd say that one out of everything that Disney's put out, that's the best one. I mean, movie wise, I think I didn't. So I'm twofold of it. I didn't absolutely love getting to know all these characters and then them all being wiped out.
Right.
It felt a little less Star Wars to me.
Yep.
But the more I think about it, and I could still appreciate that they did that and they took that risk and that they were bold enough to do that, and it also brings some weight to those characters and for the scenes moving forward.
Right.
So, but it's the most Star Wars looking movie. Like that's what I always say about that one. The aesthetics of that movie are like old school Star Wars, but in the 2020s or whatever. When that one come out, that was 20.
Rogue One.
Yeah, I forget now. But it looks so amazing, like the detail they went into.
Cinematography's
2016.
great.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a great choice, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one because you got Empire, Return of the Jedi, and then A New Hope,
Right.
and Rogue One on that. I got to go with Rogue One because you kind of see the minor characters that go on in the world, and it adds to the world building of Star Wars and what goes on in the background. And it's not just Jedis and lightsabers; it's grunts and guys and girls out there beating the dirt, fighting for their lives and fighting for a cause.
Right.
And taking heroic action to fight. I just
Yeah.
think it's a great story.
That's why, like, that again, I completely agree with you on that. And there's one scene, Nick and I have talked about this so many times. I thought Rogue One, though, in some ways, was going to be more like you saw the Han Solo movie, right?
Yeah.
There's the one scene where he's actually in the Imperial Army and they're fighting.
Oh my gosh.
And there's that war scene.
Yeah.
I
the
thought
trenches.
Rogue One was going to be more in the trenches style warfare going on, and they did to a certain extent, but it was still a bigger scale.
Yeah.
But I want to see that. Like we keep talking about seeing like a Band of Brothers style
Stormtroopers.
in the trenches, like Rebels versus Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers, I think, would be awesome. Like dark and gritty. I think that would work really well. So I completely agree with you, and it's more relatable for us, not being force sensitive, so we can relate to those characters having to go through those trenches and sacrificing so much
Yeah, exactly.
for what they believe in.
All the challenges and the imperfections and all the daily struggles that humans relate to, they just go through on a daily basis. And if you have a character set in a world that's fantastical, Star Wars or Warhammer, that has to still go through the same challenges you do, they make them way more relatable, way more likable. That's just good story writing.
It is.
Period. So,
Which leads me to another question.
Yeah.
Did you like Andor?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet? Oh, wow. Okay.
Dan keeps telling me I have to watch it, and
You
I
should.
do, but I haven't had a TV in like 6 years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But you
That's
have a
impressive.
cell phone. That's like
I do.
the new
have-
TV.
That is a new TV.
I've been
unfortunately.
telling him, because of his passion for Rogue One, I feel like he would appreciate
Oh, you'd love
Andor
it.
because of the connection and because of the lore, like you're talking about, spending time with characters in the Star Wars universe. I feel like it continues, and it actually, I don't know if you knew this, but it's season 2 is going to actually lead up to right into Rogue One.
Okay, that'd be
If
awesome.
I'm not mistaken, right? Dustin?
Yeah, it's minutes.
It will,
It's
yeah.
minutes right before Rogue One happens. That's where season 2 ends.
That's awesome.
So like that first scene, you know what I'm talking about, where Andor is with that guy on the planet, and he ends up,
Spoiler
unaliving that guy.
He's
I guess
unaliving
he's
him?
gonna end right there, right before he meets the guy, or maybe right when he meets the guy, or something like that. So that's kind of cool.
That's cool. That's the other good thing that Rogue One did as a curator, right? New and Hope. And say what
Yeah.
you want about the Leia CGI, but
Yeah.
the continuation
yeah.
of the story is just they did awesome.
Yeah, I didn't mind
Yeah.
that. Like I can, as long as the story's good. You don't nail everything. I think that's okay as long as the story fits. So.
Yeah. Nick, it's looking good, buddy.
Sweet.
And the chat said you can't catch flack for being right.
Right?
Exactly.
And Take a Break Mate said Saving Private Vader.
Yes. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. It'll be a-
Oh man, that just made me think of a whole storyline there. They think Anakin's still alive, so they are searching for Anakin just to find out it's a trap and Vader's waiting for him.
Right.
Dude, that'd be crazy.
Palpatine comes in.
Yeah.
Because he's alive again.
Somehow. Palpatine returned.
Oh my god, one of the worst lines ever.
All right.
But in our opinion,
What's next?
sorry.
So now we have the eyes, we have all the metallics done.
Yes.
So now what we can go to is we'll go into the armor.
Armor.
Now right now you'll see that the Mini is ultra matted.
Yeah.
So it's no shine whatsoever, and we all know we're looking at Death Troopers, they're ultra shiny.
They're shiny.
So we got two options what we can do.
Okay.
The DLT-9 machine gunner, his armor is finished in a satin, but you can go either satin or gloss. And you did miss a metallic too.
I did what?
His doodads right here.
Oh, those. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what they're called. I researched and I couldn't find what the heck
Where
those
were
are.
they at?
On his arm.
They look like giant
Those three little
thermometers
Yeah.
on his arm. I don't know what those are.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you see them on the reference.
Oh yeah,
images.
those actually. I thought maybe those were like energy packs or like you could quick swap for
See,
like
something.
ammo almost.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
no idea. Because
But-
they're energy packs, you'll see them, especially on the DLT-19 guy.
Are they on the back
Yeah, they're just on that left arm.
or left? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just the arm.
I was thinking of that guy a little bit. Okay.
So I have no idea what those are.
I have
Oh.
And
no
I
idea.
tried to find out what they were, and I couldn't find them.
All right.
Hold it
Back
up
to the
camera.
papers.
Oh yeah.
What
Hold it
is
up.
it that you're looking at?
Yeah, sorry.
Can you hold it up to the
So
camera?
it's literally this part of his arm.
And you can see. Why don't
Huh.
you show him this one because it shows where because you
Shows-
Ryan did,
See where the color is right there?
Oh yes, the shiny.
Shiny.
So if anyone in chat knows what those are,
Yeah.
Tell
yeah.
us.
Let us know. Great research though, Ryan. That's I love the detail you went into there on
Figuring out what everything.
yeah,
is.
figuring out what everything is.
Yeah.
That's half the fun though, man. Like knowing all those things, like going deep into lore, losing yourself in that stuff can be so much fun.
Then you get a lot of, when you're doing the research, you get into the practical effects side of things, and you see how the costumes were made and how the armor was molded and stuff like. So you get to see all the stuff past what the silver screen shows you and see how it was actually produced and made, which is really cool.
Right.
So yeah, inspiring. So if any of you are into cosplaying or any of that stuff, that's
Oh yeah.
I'm sure they're familiar with researching everything to an absolute T, because those guys are, some of their outfits are amazing.
Yeah, and it's interesting too for like the costume designers and stuff like that. That when they, there was one dude or multiple people thinking about every costume for hours on end,
Yep.
for every detail.
Yep.
The amount of detail they go into, and I'm sure the cool thing is I'm sure a lot of those costume designers work in collaboration, obviously with the directors and the creators, but I like to think they have a lot of practical application for even the costumes that they make, and they could tell you like, no, that's this thing, and
Right.
it's supposed to do this.
Right.
Like they created canon for those individual spots on the costume.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so cool. It's
crazy.
and
And
that's the back lore even of that.
Yeah, and the thought that goes into how certain things would be used, or how the Death Troopers would carry their kit. Thought went into the costumes that they made, and even with the Shore Troopers, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how other creators do stuff. It's awesome.
It's inspiring me to want to make more fan films right now. To be honest with you,
You guys
you're
should.
getting me inspired.
When's the last one you guys made?
Ooh, it was years ago now.
Dan, you remember?
Dan would know more so than I.
2019 was the last one when it released, I think, or was it 2018?
Oh shoot, I don't remember.
I can look it up in a minute, but I think we did 2015, 2016, and then I
Right.
think it was 2018 actually.
Preservation was 17, and you're thinking of. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Preservation was
that's-
17.
Yeah. 15,
Oh, yeah,
16,
okay.
17.
Wow, you're talking like 7 years ago, Dustin.
That's crazy, dude. We are
7
due
years.
for a new fan film, my friend.
It's been that long. I remember when you guys posted that.
Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy?
Well, the last one we did took us like 3 years to finish.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we filmed, well, maybe a year or two, but we filmed it at the same time as the second one, right?
Yeah, we've actually filmed it before the second
before,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, we filmed the second one after we filmed the third one, which is funny. And we learned so much. That's why it was funny to me, because I actually appreciate some of the fight in elimination, because we just learned more
Yeah.
from doing preservation, and we were able to apply that to elimination. So I feel like the fight is a little bit tighter in there in certain aspects. It's a little darker too, but and we also just went overboard on the we'll fix it in post situation.
Yeah.
That we still had to figure out how to do half of it.
Yeah.
That's what took so long.
Well, limitations with lighting and time and weather, and we didn't know what we were doing.
No, I mean we did the best we could. I think they turned out pretty
Looks
great.
like,
for what they are.
yeah, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, and 8 years ago.
Oh man,
First one.
that's crazy.
You're talking. That's almost as long as it's been between Star Wars. Pretty soon here. By the time they release their next movie,
Right?
it will have been almost 8 years since
We should beat them to it.
we should.
All right. Now I got that done.
Good to go.
Yep.
Oh, nice, dude.
Awesome.
Sick.
He's blinging. Onto the armor, man.
All right. Okay, and you said there were two options, right?
Yep. So we have a satin or gloss. It just depends on
These ones?
how shiny you want your Death Troopers to be.
Shiny.
So you did the satin one?
Yep.
Satine.
Satin.
Duchess Satine.
I'll do the gloss.
All right. So you want to give that a good shake, and you won't need to dilute this at all.
Shake it. Do it.
Good.
Do it now.
So what you're going to want to keep in mind is, obviously I'll pull up the reference image for you, because all the joints on the armor are going to remain ultra matte, so you're going to need a little control, but the rest of that armor is going to be gloss, gloss, gloss.
Yeah. And on the wet mat?
Yep.
Okay.
Where's Wet Matt?
The wet palette. How's chat doing?
They're doing good, man. They're saying 7 years ago. Hunter's saying 7 years ago, I was causing all sorts of mayhem in Indiana specifically. Yeah.
Take a Break Mate said like Vader's flashing lights ended up becoming a whole trilogy. I think going back to something you were saying earlier.
Oh yeah, right. The detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wait, I'm trying to think. What? Or is he just making a joke? Like,
Might be.
oh, that's funny. It's probably inspired a ton of fan films. I could say that much.
Yeah.
And I like how some people, like fans out there, take even some of the most minute things in Star Wars and make an entire fan film out of it. I think I find that comical and ingenious in a lot of ways. With the lore you got there.
Yeah, just expanding on that. It's like I said, the fans own the IP and they can do whatever the hell they want.
Would you ever work on costumes, Ryan?
I have.
How much do you charge?
A rod.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's fair. No, that's
Yeah, years ago before the pandemic, I did a lot of 14th century reenactment.
Oh, really?
So I'd make all historical medieval clothing, and it's quite the process, especially when you're doing everything by hand.
Oh, did you even win an award for that?
Yeah, and published in papers.
Dude, that's impressive. He's got some credit. Some credit
Street
here
cred.
too. Street cred.
Very small circles.
You have some fantasy. No, what is it? Medieval cred.
Yeah, medieval. street
Thouest
cred.
have. No, I'm sure. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was fun. It's but like the pandemic coming along and everything got hairy-carry. So
Right.
yeah, I haven't done it in a while.
You got to pivot with the times.
That's right. Gotta adapt.
Adapt or die.
Adapt.
Dude, that's
Overcome.
looking real good too on there. I like the
Right?
shine it's got going
Look how
on.
shiny he is.
Dude.
The shine's looking really good on camera, man.
Boom. So there's tons of ways you can paint. If you're not happy with just this one-to-one, there's other videos on YouTube you can find where guys actually go in and they blend and put in artificial reflections with like white paints or blue paints.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
There's ways to
seen
do
some
that.
of
It's
those.
really time-consuming. But if you're just looking for a straight tabletop, get it on a table and ready to play, this is the way to do it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what style of play is that for Grim? Or not Grim, sorry, for Mordheim.
It's a skirmish game, so your war bands are going to come in various numbers.
Okay.
So they range up to 20, and I think the least you can have on the table is 4 at a time.
Gotcha.
So, but Legion, it's the same. I think Legion's based on the point system, if I remember correctly. And then you pick your deck basically and your troopers and get them on the table, and then you fight the rebels or whoever else you're fighting.
Nice.
So Legion's another game I've been wanting to get into, but there hasn't been a lot of. It's not really popular up here
Okay.
where we're at. So
Right.
you'd have to go to
On
the
Hoth.
cities. Yeah.
We like to say we're on Hoth.
Yeah. It's not Hoth yet, thank God.
Yeah, right. It's getting close, man.
closer,
It's getting
yeah.
close.
It is.
The Empire's coming.
It is. It's just cooling down.
Right around the corner.
Sun's getting real low, big guy.
That was good. Dang it. Oh, man. You get a Wookiee cookie if you know where that's from, people.
Yeah,
Let me know in the chat.
I'm sure they do.
Oh, yeah. Sun's getting real low, big. Oh, man. Cool. Yeah. I've never actually, the only time I played, it wasn't really a game like that. I think it was the time we played.
Yeah.
Rebellion.
Rebellion.
That was super fun.
Oh,
That was a
man.
good one.
That was a long game.
That was a
too.
long day. Well, you had to stay
no,
on target, so
well, yeah.
you know.
Well, none of us knew. That was the first time playing Rebellion,
Right.
and it was fun, but none of us knew what the heck was going on. So what did it take us, like 6 hours?
Yeah, it was
us, like, the
something
whole
like
day.
it took us all
Yeah,
day.
the whole day.
I mean, I had a blast though. That's what I could see like getting lost in that and creating. I think that's why it's so much fun with these creating your own
Yeah.
and making it personalized, unique.
And tabletop gaming, it's like, yeah, video games, great, and you can talk online and Discord or whatever you're using, but you don't get that human element, that human-to-human interaction like you do on tabletop gaming.
Right.
You know, just having your friends around, snacks, drinks, and just having fun.
That camaraderie, man.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. That's
No.
it. It's like I feel like people switch to this. And it used to be like couch co-op, like video games.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people used to have Halo parties back in the day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
put
dating us a
cardboard
little
on your-
bit.
cardboard on their TV.
Yeah,
split screen
right. He said,
four
no,
ways, yeah.
no cheating, man. You screen peek.
Yeah.
Screen peek, I
You got
swear.
your peepers on. But now it's like it's switched that in some way, not switched, but now I feel like with the loss of that in some ways, and I mean people still play obviously, but it's not that as personal
They don't really make
connection
games
in
like that
in the room
Yeah.
either.
together hanging out.
Yeah.
I do miss that. So I think this is a great way to get into it, and I think
Right.
why people are
Have
drawn to it.
paint
Like you
parties.
said, that was a great point.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the dichotomy in the new generation coming up that is old enough to start playing. Is you have this side that's totally leaning into the electronic side, and they have
Yep.
they don't want any human contact. And then there's others that are like, we don't want that anymore, you know, and they're going straight tabletop and they're going straight human to human interaction, which I think is absolutely awesome.
Oh yeah,
Definitely is.
it's definitely making me want to get into it more.
Yeah,
You should.
And it's-
With all the time that you have on your hands.
Yeah, I know. That's I just need to get my kids into it.
there you go.
Right?
And you'll
Come
have
on, kids, we're going to battle.
paint your minis today.
Yeah, that's it. I'll have a little assembly line with my kids.
There you go.
I'm like, you paint this, you
Give 'em
paint
all-
this, you
give 'em
paint
all the
this.
color.
We have a war next week, and I need these done by Tuesday.
That's a great. There's plenty of guys out in the community that do this with their daughters or their sons. You know, they'll
Yeah.
sit down and paint minis. They'll go to tournaments together. They'll play games with other kids in the neighborhood or other adults or families. So it's just another community bonding experience where you get that you build that community.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's a great point. I feel like with the birth of the internet and stuff like that, I feel like we've lost a lot of that sense of community. Like you were talking about how
Yeah.
so many people are so connected online.
Yeah.
That I mean, for me, I feel like a theory I have is if people went back to focusing more on their individual communities, if people put more time and effort into that, I
Yeah.
feel like you'd see better growth throughout the country just in general
Yeah.
because it starts from the ground up.
Right. Yeah, we're all stronger together.
Yeah, instead of trying to think about, oh, how would we solve the world's problems? Now let's just focus on this here, and if everybody focused on the more immediate things, it builds its way up.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
I like that element, though, like you said, though, the family element. That's something I didn't even think about. You know, a lot of the time you think about like people who need to put deodorant on in a room together, and but there is a family element. Even like Star Wars, that's why Star Wars has survived so long, is because the fans love it and they pass it down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's been happening even more now that this is becoming more popular. It's not so, like you were talking about, you're not going to get your underwear over your head and dunked in the toilet anymore. It's more socially acceptable.
Yep.
And a fun thing to do.
Yeah, you'll notice a lot of the guys that had closet nerd parents, back in the 80s that did this kind of stuff. They're coming out now. They're now in their 40s or their late 30s, and they're like, some of my fondest memories are painting minis with my dad, or going to war game tournaments, or playing tabletop gaming with my parents. So it's good to see that, because it's all coming back around now, and like you said, it's out of the box, and guys who used to do it when their kids are coming back around and now introducing their kids into it. So a generational hobby, and it's awesome. So and
awesome.
there's so many aspects to it, right? Because it's not just the wargaming; it's the painting and the collecting and everything that comes with it, and also the skills from painting. Like, I know we have a couple artists out there, and if you want to learn a good way to practice learning, because art is nothing but studying how light interacts with the world. And if you're painting miniatures in a 3D space, and you learn through repetition how that light is interacting with your miniature, when you transfer that over to your two-dimensional art, you'll have an awesome understanding of how light works.
Wow, that's I've never heard it described that way.
Yeah.
That art is just understanding of how light. Say that
Interacts
again?
with the
That was
world.
very
Yeah,
profound.
So art is just the study of how light interacts in the world.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy to its base form. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Dang.
You'll notice a gloss black is not black, right?
Right.
It's every color that's surrounding it that's reflecting off the surface.
Wow.
That's cool.
True professional is shining through Ryan. Ryan.
I'm still waiting to get paid.
Oh, it'll happen. Don't you worry. But wow, that's a great way to put it. I never thought of it that way, and that's its most base form, like you said. Wow,
Yeah.
cool stuff.
I know some of the artists will comment out there. It's Hannah, right?
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, we got a lot. I mean, decent amount of artists. Was it Hunter who was also? Did he paint miniatures as well?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he was saying earlier.
Apparently.
So he does miniatures. We got Hannah and Nice Guy who do all different types of art.
Yeah, they said they've done basically a little bit of everything, including miniatures. Leah or Night Sky would make clay figures and then paint them as well.
Yeah.
Hannah says she prefers painting landscapes, portraits, animals, stuff like that.
I love the one she did. That was
The Rogue one. She did that massive.
Yeah, that one. That's one of my
yeah,
favorite
totally.
ones that she did. I need to like
Very cool.
buy that and put it up somewhere. I love that kind of stuff. That's so cool. Nice. How are you feeling, Nick? How's it coming? What are you thinking?
I like it.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh yeah,
Are you now lost in the world
I am.
of painting?
I could do this for hours.
I can see that.
I'm gonna have
I'm
to
glad,
at
though.
some point.
Yeah. You'll notice when you're painting by yourself, like Nick's surrounded with cameras and people talking around him, but when you're alone and you just put on a podcast or you are just sitting in silence, it's so meditative when you're just painting miniatures. You just lose it. It's
Speak-
awesome.
Speaking of podcasts, now this would be a great one to put on if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Listen to us babble on about, well, actually, we have a professional talking professionally about, and then we're just the noobs hanging out with them. But also, speaking of which, I haven't said yet, but if you're watching the stream and you're getting some enjoyment out of it, now would be a great time to like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your frenemies about us so we can continue to grow this wonderful community together. Because with all of us together, we can make Star Wars
Butter.
butter. By butter, if this is your first time, we mean better, but we always say butter for posterity's
We
sake.
always say butter.
It's fun. I like to over-explain. And also, if you haven't yet, definitely go to Ryan's channel, Grimm's Tower. Subscribe, like, watch every single video a ton of times because you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And tell him that we sent you. And we know you're going to have a lot of fun over there. And he's got more in the works, and we're super excited to see more. So keep subscribing, keep going over there, keep enjoying it.
Do it.
Thanks, guys.
How long does it take you normally to paint one of these?
So right now,
He'd be done by now.
Really?
just for the channel, like the last two on my channel I did for the Warrior Priest and my Dwarf Brewmaster, I'm limiting myself to about 10 to 15 hours a mini.
Wow.
So, but I think right now I'll try to enter a regional painting competition in 2025, and I'll probably put about 100 hours into that mini.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I already have a mini picked out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't give it away.
No, I won't.
I'm excited to find out later.
Yeah.
Possibly in a video?
Maybe.
Maybe the final product at least.
Yep.
You know, maybe
Yeah, the
just-
final product will be a video. I might shoot some 8-roll.
That'd be
just
sweet,
painting
dude.
it and make it into a quick video. But there's so many painting channels and so many artists out there that do a way better job than I do at painting a mini. It's redundant. I like the kind of the creating the not so covered stuff like terrain and little bits, scattered terrain.
Yeah, but I mean, the cool thing about that, there could be 100 other channels doing similar stuff, but they're not you.
Yeah.
And you have a unique way of telling it and showing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's what I like about this medium.
Yeah, and I like the analogy. If you walk down the bread aisle in the store, there's 100 different brands. They all have a place. So
Yeah,
there might
that's
be
true.
100 different artists out there or more, probably on YouTube, but still, yeah, you have a place there.
Give it a shot. We'll see. I might do some painting videos in the future.
Nice.
It's getting that. Well, Nick's seeing right now how it's like to paint a miniature
Yeah.
without a camera on your left shoulder.
That's
So adding camera
crazy.
equipment all around you as you're painting makes it about 100 times more difficult.
Yeah.
So
I like in your videos how you're wearing the gloves. When I first started watching, I'm like, I feel like this is, like he's going to do surgery. And I mean,
Right.
you basically were because those things were so tiny.
yeah.
But yeah, it was just kind of
And
funny.
you don't realize how small these are until you're
Yeah.
actually holding it.
Yeah.
You're like,
Right.
oh, I'll paint those eyes, no problem. And then you get the miniature and you're like,
You're like, I can't do that.
You're like, I understand why they're called miniatures now.
Yeah.
Right.
Before that, I was like, oh, that's just a fun name. I
Well,
guess.
Nick's finger makes that miniature look
Yeah.
It's
smaller. What huge? What?
Teeny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring it forward.
Look at
Just,
it in
can you
his
bring it forward
hand,
just a
yeah.
little bit there, Nick? Sorry. I know you're
we
trying
got
to
it.
be detailed.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Look at it.
But you can see the
Otherwise-
scale there a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the big miniature painters, they get their cameras in so close you can physically see their fingerprints.
That's crazy.
Clear as day. I mean, that's how tiny these things are.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
Which takes it up a skill level too, because like that amount of detail that far in, that close, that small, just makes it that much more difficult.
it does. And they come smaller than that. Like, there's
crazy.
10 millimeter ranges. So it's 1 centimeter tall as your entire mini. And guys will make entire armies out of it.
Dude, that's crazy.
Nope. That's
a-
too much.
Nope. And they get larger though too. That they do have some. I kind of like seeing some of the larger sets too. I feel like you can get more detail, or not that you can get more detail, but it's a little bit more pronounced because it is larger.
Yep.
And you can get a little bit more fine in there. But well, from my, I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I like seeing some of those bigger ones as well. The scale that they have from the miniatures to the larger sets.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll come in busts somewhere around 40 millimeters, so it'll be like chest up, and that'll be about 4 centimeters tall, or they can get as big as you want. And that's what's great about 3D printing is that if you get a mini that's scaled at 28 millimeters like Nick has, you can blow that up on your computer as big as you want it and then 3D print it. So if you want a Death Trooper that's 12 inches tall, you can do it
Oh
and
wow.
make it and truly paint it 1-to-1.
What's that in inches? Just curious.
Yeah, 20, and I'm not sure.
Yeah,
these are
what's the
exactly
conversion? I was
28
just-
mil, but so I don't know.
Just
Dan,
for,
what's 3 centimeters?
We try to cover both the Imperial and everything else. Inches to
3 centimeters to inches
yeah.
is 1.1811 inch.
So they're just under an inch.
Okay.
Just over
Gotcha.
an inch.
Or just over an inch. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. 1.18.
Oh, gotcha. Dang, that's crazy though. I was just trying to give scale for people that only
the
know
viewers.
Imperial. Yeah.
I don't know Imperial.
This is the Empire.
The Empire.
Who do you think's winning, a Mandalorian or a Death Trooper?
That's a tough one.
Mandalorian Death Trooper.
That's a
Oh.
tough one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was just thinking about. I'm like, what? Who would
Well, I
actually
guess you
win?
got to get some Mandalorians and fight the Death Troopers.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then the Empire pretty much stomped Mandalore though when they came in.
They did.
Right?
The Night of a Thousand Tears. If
Yeah.
you saw that, yeah, that was.
So I guess that answers that question.
It does kind of, but that wasn't.
was a
I mean, it's
bombardment.
still fair. It's fair, but it was orbital bombardment instead of like not one on one, but like
fighting.
yeah. So I feel like Mandalorian would probably take the edge, depending on the Mandalorian though too.
Yeah. The other thing too is like stormtroopers are trained in teams, right?
Yeah.
So you put a guy out there hanging by himself, who knows how he's going to perform.
yeah, exactly.
But I do know the IG model of droids will smoke anybody.
Really,
Yeah,
they are pretty crazy.
they're nuts. There's an IG-11 in the Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like rotating all his body parts around, shooting
That
everybody.
that was one of my favorite things actually. That they really went like in depth with IG-11,
Yeah.
and they showed like the functionality and how intimidating and scary one of those droids actually are. Because you've always like people have always imagined it, and they made that book series, the IG-88 books or
Yeah,
book.
I am, or I think therefore I am, is the IG-88 book.
That was terrifying. I
Yeah.
mean, I listened to that and I was just like, oh my goodness. Speaking of terrifying AI or something like that, that showed up. That was not for kids. Definitely gory graphicness, but it really gave you a good perspective on how terrifying they are. And if they showed up, I mean, you're basically done. I mean,
Yeah, they're formidable.
yeah.
IG models are murder machines. Which, fun fact of the old lore in that book, IG-88 actually became the Death Star computer.
Oh, yeah.
Downloaded himself, and he was actually the Death Star right before it blew up.
That's crazy.
Nice.
There you go, fact checker.
I like it. Bring those facts. I'll double check them. Skylark asked, who are the big robot type troopers in Mandalorian with Moff Gideon?
Dark Troopers.
Dark Troopers. Yep.
Dark troopers.
And that was a new creation too, that kind of actually were semi-inspired from the Death Troopers,
Right.
but turned into like, it was like almost an IG unit mixed with a Death Trooper, and Dark Trooper is basically what you get. They also had Dark Trooper armor, which was another addition onto that. They kind of explored that in the third season. But the Dark Troopers were terrifying.
Yeah, they were. Machines.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Star Wars hasn't really explored the whole. They've done a little, but they haven't really leaned into like that cyborg element of like a futuristic sci-fi where like people are half machine or they're.
I'll say they did, but in not a very good. And personally, not in a very good way. They what were they called? The modders is what they called them.
Yeah.
And
It was bad.
they just didn't go. I felt like they didn't go in depth enough with it in some ways.
Or
It
did they
almost
just make
didn't-
him a little too goofy?
They
and
made him
Almost
a-
didn't
yeah.
feel like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was too.
It was weird.
It was too kiddish in a lot of ways. And they didn't go. I feel like they didn't go heavy on like the sci-fi nature of it as well. Like it was more of just like a plot point, or
Yeah,
just like
it was-
trying to make them a cool character
It didn't
without
fit.
giving them enough to make them cool, other than when he spun and shot, which was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I found that weird in the Star Wars universe that they never really explored that to in depth.
Other than, I'll say the only other
What's his
thing though
name?
is their hands and
Yeah.
with
Right.
Luke,
Cybernetics.
and that's the only thing.
Right.
And technically, Lobot as well.
Lobot, yeah,
He was a cyborg hybrid, but they don't go in depth with him.
Right.
That was what's his name's like helper on
Lando.
Cloud City. Lando's helper on Cloud City.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
And he kind of helped control things that were all the work things going on.
the automation of
Yeah.
Cloud City. Yeah, I forgot about him.
But again, he's not a main character. He's just like kind of a side character.
just there.
But
Yeah.
they've gone more in depth in the more the lore, the books, and
Okay.
stuff like that, which I think is cool. And then the new show coming out with Skeleton Crew, one of the younger ones in that
Yep.
looked kind of like half cyborg.
You mean Geordi from Star Trek?
Right. So that's I am excited. I think that's a great point though, a great thing. I feel like they haven't been going enough into the science fiction area as well, like with gear. Like we used to get so much more gear oriented stuff. You'd see Luke working on the saber, or whatever. You'd see people tinkering with their tools.
Right.
You saw them build his hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or
Like
the-
that's the kind of stuff we like to see, because it makes it feel more realistic, and gives you it inspires your imagination to be like, oh, how could that be used here or there?
Yeah, it's good world building. Like even when Han and Chewie are trying to get the Falcon up and running, and he's like, "Hand me the hydro spammer."
Yeah.
Like wait, I don't know what the hell a hydro spammer is,
Right.
but it's an important tool at that moment, and that it exists in that world, and it's little stuff like that. It doesn't have to be super in depth, but just adding those little tidbits into a world makes it so much more believable, and that the people of that world know that tool, know what it does. It's great. It doesn't have to be this crazy in-depth explanation of what it is, just to add it.
Right. And to keep it, what's the word I'm looking for? Canonical in some ways, or at least like
Yeah, don't make
you.
it too outlandish.
Right. But for the fact that everybody in that universe knows what it is, and it's going to stay that way throughout the universe. Like
Right.
you can't, you're not just going to change it as you're going willy nilly, because it's unbelievable. But also the whole fact that it's relatable to our world, the lived-in galaxy that George Lucas created, is part of the genius, because then we're able to relate those things. Like we're able to relate with mechanics trying to mess with their hot rods. That's like Han Solo and Chewie.
Right.
They're always tweaking something. They're always fixing something. We know people like that, and it's realistic to us. And in that weathering, to go back to even art and the way they designed everything, they weathered it all up.
Yeah.
And I love that they did that. I mean,
Yeah,
you
it's-
could probably speak to that more than me. Even.
Yeah, it's giving it that real world believable grit, and that's what makes a good. And it's just like characters. Like we talk about having characters that have flaws, and it's the same with any kind of material culture within that world, and making that, fleshing it out a little bit, and giving it the flaws or the grit that it needs to make it relatable to an audience. That's what I think a lot of modern media is really lacking.
Yeah.
But 'tis the times.
Right. Oh, and that's I think a good story will prevail in the end.
Yeah.
You know, so there's more to come. I think we were kind of going through, like you said, a dark time in a lot of storytelling. There's still great storytelling out there. I just feel like it's maybe not so much in the mainstream.
Right.
You kind of got to look elsewhere to find some of it. I mean, there's still some that comes through. Like I like Godzilla -1. I ended up actually watching that, and that's kind of more an off thing. That's not really Star Wars, but it was a low budget Japanese made film. But the way that they created the story, that's why it didn't matter. Like there was heart there. There was
Right.
a good character development. The way they did it was perfect. I mean and it made it for like $15 million, and I think they ended up making like
That's a lot.
300 million or something like that
Yeah.
worldwide, and it's still going. So
And that just shows what the market craves, right? Like that's what people are looking for is
Right.
good storytelling, good world building, and then Hollywood gets mad about it.
yeah,
Why are
right.
you watching
yeah.
our stuff?
That's the right, exactly.
Garbage.
Well, it's just not what the audience is looking for. That's
Right.
the thing. You got to know your audience. So, I was gonna ask you too. Do you have a favorite character in Star Wars? We were kind of bouncing around characters there for a little while. Do you have a favorite one?
God, there's a lot of guys I like.
Yeah.
I used to like Boba Fett.
Used to is the keyword.
Yeah, he was awesome.
I don't know
Rip in peace.
if it would be my favorite, but I would really like to see. I would really like to see an IG variant movie.
Yeah.
And see how an IG actually functions in the world, and they could create whatever story plot that they wanted. Maybe it struggles with, am I human, or it's like the
Yeah.
book title of the IG-88 is I think therefore I am.
Right.
And that's his conclusion. And it doesn't matter whether he's human or not. It's just he is what he is.
Right. Yeah.
So I would like to see that explored, kind of the droid side of things explored a lot more.
That could be such a great, even topical for what we were talking about tonight with AI. I mean, that would be such a good, relevant topic to discuss. And I think part of the problem with Star Wars sometimes is they're too afraid to go into different genres when it comes to Star Wars. Like it has to be like fantasy almost. Like they almost want to keep it that style. Which I think it plays well when you keep it close to the originals. But that's I think why people appreciated Rogue One and these Death Troopers is because it gave us a little different take in the world of Star Wars.
Right.
Like why not go into like a deep philosophical AI, but still awesome movie? You can still have crazy action sequences, make it big, but at the same time, the focus is on AI, like what makes that is it sentient, is it not? You could go in depth on that.
Yep. And it's something that's been done to death, right?
Right.
But a good story doesn't always have to be original.
Right.
So they could still do it, but like you said, I think they're worried about going out to be bold and be creative on their own and try something. But I think that would probably be right now my favorite character would probably be IG-88 as he is in that book.
Dude, that's awesome.
So
That's a great one.
yeah.
Now, if you were going to go into a genre, like a different, like if you could see Star Wars doing a different style genre, like we were talking about with the whole war movie, like dark, like definitely
Band of Brothers?
Band of Brothers style, or Saving Private Ryan style, something like that, or would you like some sort of, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a few, like noir or something like that.
I'm really a big fan in Warhammer. You have a group of Templars. They're just ordained witch hunters that go around and they go from town to town and they have to figure out who's corrupted or who's doing evil.
Where's the heresy?
And then, where's the heresy? Figure it out and then destroy the heresy. And the good books are written, like you said, detective noir style.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that in like a Star Wars. They could take a similar Andor character, some spy or something, and turn it into an awesome detective noir.
Yeah.
And keep it down to earth on, they could do Coruscant, they could do some other big city where he's just stuck in the alleys, he's stuck in the belly, the underworld, meeting all the grit that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see in the high story arcs. I think that would be a great movie.
Yeah, because I think the genius of that, like if I were in Star Wars, that would actually be one avenue I'd try to go. I'd try to incorporate different genres of film and find those auteurs in that field that make great content. I would be looking for them, and what I would do is I'd put them in charge of that style that they like to make,
Yep.
but put it in Star Wars. So what you'd have is, some people, obviously a higher element that knows the lore, find a timeline or a time frame that they can put it in. Basically, let them write what they want to write, and then you just adapt that to fit within Star Wars. And I think if you did that, I think you'd have the great, compelling story that they'd write, and you would also, and you put it in Star Wars, but then you'd also be deepening the lore of Star Wars in that way if you wrote it correctly.
Right.
So
But just the world building, like
Yeah.
you saw that a little bit in in Tatooine. You see a little bit of it in the prequels. You get to see a little bit of like Watto and his junkyard and
Yeah.
how a regular
Yep.
business operates on the day to day. I mean, that's cool, and you can expound upon that in such a creative way. But imagine now a whole movie set like that. Rogue One has a little bit of that too in that market ambush scene where you get to see how that market on that world works.
yeah,
The cultural dress, it's cool. That's what I like in movies, is to see how the everyday stuff functions.
yeah, you like the everyday man
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That's cool though. That's awesome. What about a rom-com? Would you go for a rom-com in Star Wars?
Yeah.
They can be good if done right. I think you'd have to get the right people for that one. I think that would be more challenging than most, to be honest with you, to be successful, but I think they could do it.
That would be a tough sell for me. I can already hear the narrator talking.
I know, it would be very difficult.
Dimbo does so-and-so this week.
Dinbo falls in love. He already
Again.
did.
Again.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Yeah, so different genres for us. We've always said is the war, like boots on the ground, like in the thick of it, war style, like just almost like a simple task they're trying to do, or hold this ground, and like you even said earlier, it doesn't have to be super original to be great. Just adapt it in your own vision,
Right.
and implement it in Star Wars. So
Yeah. I mean, so the guys who haven't seen, or the people who haven't seen like any of the Republic era stuff, with the clone troopers, I know they explore a lot of brotherhood themes in those, but the guys like me who haven't seen them or aren't really interested in that era, all we see are just faceless stormtroopers that go around. We
right.
don't see any interactions that they have with one another. If you put those guys in the ground, or even rebel troopers for that matter,
Yeah.
just no-namers, guys in the trenches, and how their heroic deeds and how they act under pressure and all that stuff, I think those would be an awesome movie.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. Yeah. All right, Nick, how you doing, man? We haven't checked in on you in a while.
I think
Sorry.
I'm almost there.
It's pretty quiet.
Dude, I'm into it.
Are you pretty quiet when you build too, Ryan? You get pretty focused?
super. I like turning on meditative music or lo-fi or something chill and just getting lost in it,
That's fun. man.
which is something I'm going to have to balance out with the channel, because when I'm doing it for the channel, I'm not in the mode. I'm worried about filming and production.
You almost need a crew there to
Yeah.
just let you do your thing and then have somebody else film you.
Right?
Well, when you blow up, maybe we can help you with that.
That's going to look sick.
Dude, yeah.
Right?
It's already looking awesome. That paint right there. Which one are you doing there?
This is the gloss.
So what Nick's doing is we had an ultramat coat that he started off with, and now what we're doing is the armor plates that you see in the movie that are actually gloss. He's just taking a clear varnish, just a clear coat, but it dries with a very glossy sheen to it. So that's going to give it just a 1-to-1 at that scale gloss finish that'll give that Jet Trooper that iconic look. So nothing fancy, and that's how we're getting contrast in the miniature too. So when someone actually picks it up and looks
I don't
at
mean
it.
to bug you, but
Don't
they can't
do
really
it.
see what you're doing.
Headshot.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. It's tough. Yeah, like you said, it's tough when you're filming and trying to
It
get
is.
lost in it.
Yeah.
But it's looking great. Look at that.
Right. It's awesome.
Man,
The
that shine, really makes it pop too.
Right?
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It's weird for me to see, because on the fantasy side of things, everything is ultramat.
Yeah.
Like nothing is gloss.
Right.
Yeah.
The only things that are kind of glossy are your true metallic metals, and if those aren't rusted to you know where.
Yeah, right.
You know, so to see a gloss in a miniature, my first reaction was like, yuck.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you know it's a Death Trooper, and you're like, yeah, that
It
doesn't
kind of
look
it
bad.
still kind of works.
Right, yeah.
What is that? Because they got plastoids, is what they talk about in Star
Yeah.
Wars. Durasteel.
Yep.
They got so many. I like the fact they even made their
name
own
it.
They
style.
fleshed out armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beskar. You
None
know,
of it works.
Right.
None of it does.
Unless you're a hero.
anything.
Unless,
Right,
well, the Beskar I'd say is the best armor you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, since it basically blocks everything from lightsabers to blasters.
Yeah, that's what I'd be investing in that world.
Yeah, if you could get it. Although I feel like with some of the newer content, they haven't made it as rare as I feel like it should be, and they didn't flesh that out as well as I think they could have. They should have made that a little bit more of a, I don't know, what's like a desirable
Like rare.
or
It's
like more
yeah.
rare and more
Super
like,
rare.
yeah. But they ended up kind of using it more as not even a plot point.
Plot armor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
literally.
That's the strongest thing in Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
But
I like Skylark's comment there for Nick.
There's a
What is
few. Do you see the few?
no, what's
Well,
Skylar
'cause
saying?
We can
Oh.
see your head for your hair for Wild Nick.
Yeah.
So
Sith and shine. That's funny.
Wookiee wash.
Wookiee wash.
Dude, you gotta come out with our own
Yeah.
soap brand.
or only
Shampoo.
hope soap.
Only
Hope
hope
soap.
soap. These are great. Oh my goodness.
Right?
And then while you're making the soap, you got to make some butter.
Butter.
Yeah.
Butter soap.
Butter not.
All right. I
Think you done?
think so. I think I've hit all the spots.
Maybe you should hand it over to the master.
Yeah,
He'll tell you if you
he'll
got it
tell
done
me.
or not.
He'll be like, "What is this?"
But have you named them yet?
Have you named them all yet?
That's my favorite line, but
Yeah, man.
recently.
It turned out great.
Right?
Good job, man.
I had a lot of fun with that. That was great.
Yeah. So you want to get into some glazing?
Sure.
All right. We're going to work on the blaster.
Okay.
So for glazing, what you've been doing for your base coat is called layering.
Yeah.
It's basically 50-50 water paint mix.
Yep.
For glazing, you're going to want it a lot thinner.
Thinner. Okay.
Way thinner.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
So it
Yep.
shines through. So
Shiny.
underneath.
So it's almost transparent, and then what you're going to do is you'll start at point A, drag that paint down, and it'll be transparent. And then point B is going to be below point A, drag that down towards the black. Point C, so on and so forth. So you'll get a gradation of aluminum to black, and that's what they call glazing.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
yeah, grab your black, thin it out.
like a donut.
One.
Like a donut.
Yeah.
How the glaze on a donut, you can
Yeah.
still
The
see through it.
glaze.
The glaze on a donut.
The
You know, we
donut
got to go
glaze.
food on target a little bit
Right.
here. Favorite donut, everybody. I want to know from everybody. Favorite donut out there. Chat.
I'm interested to hear this. I like donuts.
Donuts are good, man. Not good for you at all, but I mean,
No, they're
good for
terrible
your
for you.
soul.
They are. Comfort food.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's
You
like
can probably take 2 drops of that, Nick.
1, 2.
Boom. Mix that sucker up.
What's your before you start cranking away there, Nick? What's your favorite donut?
I'm actually partial to French cruller.
Vive la
Nobody
French.
knows what
No,
that
I have no
is.
idea what you're talking about. And you've
It's like,
told me
yeah,
before
just
too.
look it up.
Fact checker, what's
French.
a French cruller?
Cruller.
French.
It gives up the
But
easy.
also, like, a more known one would be
Vive la
twisty
resistance!
like a lemon or a raspberry Bismarck.
Mm,
That's
okay.
another one. Yeah,
That's
a
good.
French
Oh,
cruller.
wow.
Yeah.
Dan, killing it, man.
Oh, I see.
Look at that. Now you're making me hungry for donuts.
Right? Look at it. Oh.
Look at it!
Oh, man.
Look at it.
Look at it!
Look at it.
Oh my goodness, that looks
That does
delicious.
look good.
What about you, Ryan?
I get sick every time I eat it.
That's when you know it's good.
But it's vanilla bear claw with vanilla frosting on top.
Ooh.
And yeah, I get sick to my stomach every time I
Right.
eat it, but I always eat the whole thing.
Does it the bear claw? Doesn't that have the apple in it, or do you?
That's
or
an
is-
apple fruit.
No,
Oh.
sorry, not bear claw, Long John.
Long John. Okay.
Vanilla Long John with vanilla frosting on top.
Yep.
That's my favorite.
Vanilla. Do you like anything on the inside? You like
Vanilla frosting.
Vanilla in the, oh, and on top.
It's just
Straight vanilla.
eating frosting with a little bit of dough in it.
Oh my
No wonder you
God.
get sick.
Yeah, I know.
Just joking.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah, I feel disgusting.
Like that?
Right here. Yeah, exactly like
Oh
that.
my goodness.
my goodness.
Those are delicious though.
They're also about a foot long.
You're highlighting the calories.
Yeah.
don't show them that.
That's it, 280? That's nothing.
Right?
That's nothing.
Must be a store bought.
It says there's 683 servings and so it's 280.
683.
whatever this package is.
Oh my, that's escalated. That escalated quickly.
You must
One
be able to
donut.
order like a lifetime supply of chocolate.
The donut bank.
Right?
Wow.
Save that in my web
You
browser.
can retire with that.
Oh man.
All right.
What about you, fact checker? Oh, sorry. No. Oh no.
No,
well,
you're good. Just
okay.
keep going.
Yeah. You're about to jump back into it, right?
I mean, I will after you're done with the
Okay.
donut.
Fact checker. Let us know, and then he's gonna jump back into it.
I just like the what is it? The sour cream donut with a glaze. I think so. Just pretty traditional.
So sour cream donut.
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
But is there some?
That
There's. I think there's some without glaze,
Ooh,
though,
those
right?
are good.
Oh,
Typically,
yeah,
think
no,
they
I see
have
there. Okay.
glaze on it.
They
Yeah.
do.
You're
good
right.
plain.
Those
They're
are
just-
delicious.
Yeah, they're just they're not as dry,
Yeah, they're more moist.
and that's what I like.
So
Yeah.
moist.
Just like the gas station creamer.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So moist.
I love a good
Who
callback.
knew?
Right?
Here in Tucky, we call those tractor tires. Talking about the
The
crullers,
crullers,
Davis?
yeah.
Oh yeah, it does look like that. That's hilarious.
This guy like you eat like a king at Donut Bank.
What about you, Dan? What's your favorite donut?
It's gotta be. Let's see if my camera's. Oh yeah, there we are. It's
Hi.
gotta be. See if I can find it here.
Sorry, I threw
He's
you
gonna,
there.
he's
You want?
gonna come up with a
Yeah.
crazy one.
Dan's going to be
that's
getting
smart.
ads on his phone now for donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be seeing ads everywhere for donuts.
And everyone watching
Anyway.
the show will as well.
Yeah, now
It's
everybody's.
the raspberry Bismarck. It's like the jelly filled basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
So if I just say jelly filled donut,
That looks like.
Search.
yeah, it's too good. It like sometimes if you eat it wrong, it like spills all over you,
Yep. And, you're like,
and that's
"What
half
did
the
I do?"
fun.
You like the challenge?
Yeah, apparently.
How do you eat them right? Because you never know where it's gonna
That's right.
fall out from.
Yeah, well, look, it's even got its own Wikipedia page. It's famous.
Alternative names. Jam.
That's his band name. That's the band name.
Jam donut.
You just got
Look at
jammed.
that.
Don't like it.
Place of origin, Germany.
I love how it's like the one that fell on the floor. They took the picture of that one.
That's kind of looks
like
like.
Somebody
kinda
stepped
stepped
on
on
it
it.
slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, this one goes back to 1485.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know,
That was
Wow.
the original one right there.
I guess.
That goes back to medieval times, right, Ryan?
Renaissance.
Renaissance. The Renaissance.
Renaissance.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
There
Go
you go.
ahead. Go ahead.
All right,
Matt.
so with glazing, you're going to have a lot of extra moisture on your brush. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dab it on the towel, and you'll see the paint spread as you dab it. See how it spreads like that?
Yeah.
Wait,
Keep-
let's get a shot of
Oh,
this
okay.
so that our viewers can see it as well.
So you'll want to keep dabbing that until you don't see that spread anymore.
So
Keep going.
Wait, let me just.
So the one up there was the spread. The
Yeah,
top, this
watch.
one right here.
This
was
is
the
what
spread.
it does. It goes like-
Watch this,
Ooh.
and it actually
Whoa.
spreads out.
So you want to get all that moisture out of your brush. And you might be a little thick. So do me a favor and take your left hand and then paint with your brush on your metacarpal.
What's a metacarpal again for us
So
laymen?
you're going to want to thin that out.
Okay. A little more water.
Yep.
Wow.
No, a little more gas station.
A little dabble, do you?
Gas station cream.
I'm saving you from the panicky correction that you're going to make that you'll eventually learn by sticking your brush in water and then sticking the brush in your mouth
Yeah.
to get all those stuff off and then putting it back on the miniature trying to soak up the paint before
Oh,
it dries
okay.
on there.
Ooh, it sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Oh yeah. I do it. I think most miniature painters do it quite a bit.
In my world, experience tops everything. No, it's not exact, but that's a quote from.
Try that again.
That's
Try it again.
On your
Rex.
thumb.
On my thumb.
It's one of the lines he has. He says it Ahsoka.
Perfect. That'll be good.
Nice.
All right. So start just a little bit from the end and then work your way back towards the stock of the blaster. So you'll start down here and then work your way to that. But you got to go all the way around. So just the easiest way to do it is do like 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, so on and so forth. Make sense?
12's on top.
Right. I got that. So
Sorry.
that way.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
then, wow.
Yep. And you'll start near the edge and then the progressive layer as we go, you're going to work farther back.
So does he do
Or
a
start farther back.
Does he do a stroke all the way down the thing there, or does it
Just
like-
to the black, just covering the aluminum to the
Oh,
black.
okay. You understand?
You're going to
Boy.
see really fast if it's thin enough.
Oh,
Oh, you got sorry. They can't see what you're doing. I'm sorry.
sorry.
I don't mean to throw
I
you
can't
off
do
there.
this.
You can do it.
I can't work under these conditions, man.
I know.
Too much pressure.
Okay, let me put my
There you go.
glasses
Yeah,
on.
they can see that. I'm just trying.
I gotta get close enough.
As he's doing this, fact checker, did the chat let us know what kind of donuts they like?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah, they have lots of good ideas. So let's see. Well, Hunter said gigantic ones. Skylark said cake donut with white frosting and sprinkles. Love it.
Oh, dude, it all sounds delicious. Okay, you want here? I can get in close if you want.
Sonia said
Oh,
chocolate with peanuts. Wow.
am I right your way?
Tell me if I'm in your way,
Are we
Nick.
getting another angle? Or
Yeah, we're
you're
getting the
prepping it?
Trying to.
We're getting the personalized angle once in a sec, in a
Ooh.
minute.
Okay.
I'm just practicing.
I don't know if I'm even doing this right.
Yeah, how's it looking there, Ryan? Is that kind of the?
It's probably like too dry.
Here, I'll give you a demo.
Yeah. Let's have
Yeah.
Ryan here.
Ryan, the master.
I'll just hold it. I think if that's okay with you. Then I can get a little closer. I'll give him another angle here.
You need these?
Oh, no, all right.
This is the live cam.
Matthews is correcting our jelly donut. He's got the proper name from Germany.
Oh, from
Ryan
Germany.
might be able to say that better
proper-
than we would.
What is it, Berliner?
Yeah.
Ein
there's more
Berliner
than that.
oder Krapfen.
Well, who was the U.S. president that went over to Germany and said, I'm a Berliner, and everyone
Yep.
started laughing at him?
It's JFK.
JFK?
Yep.
So what you're going to see right now is that you're not noticing a lot of black.
Right.
And that's because the paint we're using right now is so transparent.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
So once that dries, and you see I'm starting at the end here, once that dries, our next layer is going to come back just a touch.
Yep.
And then in theory, by the end, by the time we make it to the back here, it'll be a nice gradation back to the black.
Oh, okay. That's what you're saying.
So yeah, that's just glazing. So give that about 30 seconds or so to dry. Start on the top and then work your way back to the next one.
Alrighty.
And your paint was a little
Thick.
thick, but that's my fault for not
Right.
telling you. I should have been keeping an eye on it.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is advanced, and how that's got to be like what, 1/8 of an inch, if
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So you're trying to blend two different opposite colors at
Sorry, I'm trying
at
to-
like 1/8 of an inch.
It's not focusing. I'm sorry. It's once
Can't
with
do
everything
it.
else.
Here,
It's
this
like,
is a mini trick.
oh
So
yeah,
done by
yeah,
hand.
you know. Can you switch back then? Thanks. Oh yeah, you just need the. Maybe I'm too far or close.
Yeah.
That looks nice. Look at that, man.
Look at it.
Look at it.
It's beautiful.
That's cool. All right, sorry, I'll let you get back too.
Nice. All right. So start at the end, and so you just want the end of the gun.
Yep.
Right,
The
like
end
right
of a
here.
gun will be aluminum, and
Right.
then the farther you go back, the darker it'll get.
Oop, sorry, I didn't know you were switching back. I'm sorry. Well, this is amateur hour when it comes to filming.
Cool.
Just gives us a little different angle there.
What's Chad's favorite Star Wars? I'm interested.
Did we get through all the donuts? And then we'll do that question next. That's a great question, Ryan.
Let's see. Oh, Hunter clarified powdered cinnamon sugar, specifically the Kroger brand donuts. All right.
What about just like a good Krispy Kreme hot donut? Those are
Right,
good,
right
man.
off the line.
Those are good.
Oh man.
You could eat like
Delicious.
half the box.
Carla said she just loves a good donut. Yeah. Oh, and then Yaki said, I'm willing to eat a donut that has a Philippine mango flavor.
Oh.
It would be a very
Wow.
tropical donut. Different.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I don't think
Okay,
I've
let me
ever
try
heard
to
of a
let me see if I can
mango
get closer.
flavored
Yeah.
Oh, come on, focus.
I could see like a mango jelly donut.
How close do you have to get? I know you gotta
What would be
get
the
it.
jelly though?
Well, the mango.
Oh.
Come
Yeah.
on. Come on.
Come on.
Okay.
It's
Hey,
not
it won't
gonna
work that
work.
close.
Nope.
Sorry. Thought maybe that macro lens would kick in.
It should, but apparently not.
Not in this mode or something.
It's tough because the hard thing, especially when you'll notice with photography, is if you're trying to film this, something I just recently learned. So something as black as a Death Trooper, and then you have it against either a white background or even a flesh color.
It wants to.
It wants to just the flesh color blows it out. So it's really hard to focus. So the easiest way to do it is if we have anything
Like
black.
a black background, it
Yeah.
will focus on it.
Yeah. Here.
We can get that here in a minute.
Black fabric works the best.
Okay. We could almost use one of those sound panels too,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yep.
Well, if you have any loose ones. Sorry.
Sound panel or even even one of the thermoses would probably work for better focus. How you doing? You feeling it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you feeling it, Mr.
Maybe
Krabs?
so.
Yeah. It's a little advanced, and that's
Oh,
a
yeah, that
really,
would be
really
good.
tight spot that you're
It
trying
is.
to-
That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
thinking about. That's perfect.
But
All right, here. Let's try
Oh.
this for the background and see if we can't get that close-up shot on it, so everybody in the chat can see.
Yeah.
Let's see above. Still got to be. I don't know if I can get much closer.
Yeah, I don't think I'll let you.
Yeah. It's looking sweet though.
yeah.
Right?
You gotta probably keep it on that. I'll get real close and see if it changes. No, the macro lens not kicking in.
Photograph stills, you'll be able to capture it
Yeah,
way
yeah,
better
for
than
sure.
video, especially with a cell phone's always trying to change its aperture.
Yeah, it is.
So
It looks good though,
Yeah.
man. That's probably the best right there. But
Right.
look great when you get them on a board and you get them all together. Just look awesome.
it doesn't give me that option.
Ghetto. I could try one other setting. Let me see.
Okay.
What was the question you wanted to ask the chat? I think some people heard, but
I just wanted to see what everyone's favorite Star Wars was.
nice. Skylark said off the gate, Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Mathus said he wants some right now. Either donuts, I think donuts,
Right.
from all that talk.
Hey, let me see. Okay, I just got it.
That'd be a good business venture, 24-hour donut shop.
Right?
That one. Or which?
Sounds
I'm
awesome.
sure they're out there.
Yeah. $1 donuts after
that
they
one.
get stale. Perfect.
Yeah, we're back.
All right, so what is everyone's favorite Star Wars movie? I'm going to post in the chat.
Yeah, do it.
Favorite Star Wars
Do it.
movie.
While you're doing that, my favorite is the Squealer.
Yeah.
It's at one kind of close by, but it's got
Cops and donuts.
bacon
Oh,
and it's got bacon on top and it's got a maple glaze.
ooh.
It's super good. You wouldn't think that would work.
Sounds like a whole breakfast.
It does.
If it does,
and
but
actually,
they
so-
don't put anything in it.
that's the biggest problem. They need that maple glaze on the inside because it's like a long john
Yeah.
with the bacon running across the top in that maple glaze, but they don't have anything on the inside. If I could get that maple glaze on the inside too, it would be perfection in my humble opinion. And I actually asked them about that one time. I was like, why don't you guys put the maple glaze on the inside? They said specifically because people buy them the day before and they like to heat them up in the microwave in the morning. And I guess something to do with it being on the inside, like the
Make it soggy.
yeah, it like messes the donut up if you have that on the inside. Well, I'm like, can you make one that does that?
I
And
bet
one
you
that
they can
doesn't
do
have
that.
that? I know. I need to
I
ask
bet
them
you
to
they
do
do
that.
that. Go and just tell them, like, fill it with some maple glaze.
Yeah, I'll be like, give me the ultimate squealer. Not this.
Ultimate squeal.
I want the what? No, what would we call it? Not the
Give me the whole hog.
the boar.
I want as many calories in this thing as you can possibly
Yes.
fit.
Look, if we're going there, we might as well go all the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. I know we're getting to the chat. Favorite Star Wars movie? That's what you asked, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan gave us his, which is Rogue One, and we'll just go right to the chat, and then we can answer later if we want.
Yeah. So yeah, Skylark said, shoot, what did she say? Return of the Jedi.
Ooh, nice choice.
Yep. Hunter said Empire, no doubt.
I missed a spot.
The Empire.
And KG said, I go back and forth between Empire and New Hope for the OT.
Yeah, yeah. It's It's tough to pick a favorite.
It is.
I'm sure that we probably got more rolling in here too. Favorites. Nick, what's yours? I'm trying to remember right now. Right,
It's
meow.
Empire.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Empire.
What about you, fact checker? Do you have a favorite?
Oh gosh. I like the first one, for sure.
New Hope.
Yeah, just because it sets it up. But I also like the third because it wraps up that storyline. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I go back and forth
Between those two?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's tough, especially with the OT, man. They're all so stinking good.
I know. Yeah. I'd say as far as what I've always said basically when it comes to Star Wars, I'd say Empire is the best out of all of them when it comes to pacing, story, delivery, and kind of that wow factory. That wow, like, oh my goodness, they just dropped a bomb on our heads and then left you wanting more. Like a lot of bold choices, but the pacing in that film is just on point.
Yeah.
Like there's
It is.
it's so good. Like they just keep that story moving so well. You have time to breathe, but it's not like never feels slow for what's going on.
Right.
But as a child growing up, Return of the Jedi was my favorite because just being young, I love seeing Luke's green lightsaber. That's my favorite lightsaber color is green and just in general. And I love seeing him almost as a master. Not quite, but like full Jedi Knight Luke for me was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was a happy ending. Like as a kid again,
Right.
it works. And the kind of kiddish things in that one work better when you're younger,
Right.
I feel like, than when you're older. Like that's why I can appreciate Empire so much more now.
Yeah.
But Return of the Jedi as a kid, that hope it gave you, the fun and all the kind of kiddish elements in some ways just work.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's a wholesome story. You know?
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that the sort of Lucas story arc is childish and it's made for kids, but there's other great movies and stories that have wholesome arcs that are definitely not made for kids, and they're enjoyable by everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, I love the movie Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger.
That's one of
classic.
our ultimate favorites.
And that's got drama and romance and violence and everything else in it. And it's an awesome movie. It's one of my classics is A Knight's Tale.
I like how they put a touch of modernism into it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't overwhelming. Like it still fit with that story.
Right.
I thought that was a bold choice. Like right off the bat, they're like, we will, and they're like incorporating it. I was like, what is going on?
What is happening right
But
now?
it still,
they just leaned into it.
yeah,
Yeah, they did.
and it fits so well. And the on point humor with the storytelling and coming from nothing
Yep.
is such a
Yeah, it's the pauper's tale of, rags to riches.
Yeah.
It's so relatable. And that story was written by Chaucer in 1400s.
Yep.
really.
Yeah. And they adapted the
Jeffrey
story
Chaucer.
quite a bit.
Jeffrey,
writer.
yes, the
Jeffrey
writer.
Chaucer, the writer.
Didn't he?
What?
Yeah, he's
what?
what?
Writer?
All right.
No, I write with ink and parchment.
Just to clarify, not a movie for kids, though. I feel like I am obligated to say that.
Yeah.
But I don't want any kids going out there and watching it and us getting in trouble for that. So
Right. It's not our fault.
True.
once you are of age, it is a fantastic. I was just talking about that movie the other day too, when it was the part where she's like, "Better silly girl with a flower than a silly boy with a horse and a stick." And she's walking away. The other guy's like,
Hello.
"Hello."
Yeah, other than there's only like one or two scenes in there that I think are inappropriate. I think with some parental guidance, pre-watching that movie.
Yeah,
and
right.
I think everything else other than those two scenes,
Right.
2 or 3 maybe, I think they'd be absolutely fine for a kid to watch.
Yeah, you could throw it on like VidAngel.
Yeah,
that helps
yeah.
edit out a lot of that, which is a great tool to have, so you can still stories because they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Oh, there's that scene at the end where he goes back and he sees his dad blind and he's
Yeah.
oh my god, it's a
Oh my
tearjerker.
It is, man.
Every time.
But it's so inspiring, and they
Yeah.
don't like. I like that they don't make it any more sad than it needs to be. I guess you could
Right,
say. I
yeah.
don't want to spoil the movie in any way for anybody,
Well,
but
it's been out there for a while.
It's been out there. I know, but I
Spoiler
like
alert.
people to enjoy the movie without being spoiled as much as possible. I mean, obviously, if you haven't seen it, it's kind of on you at this point, but it's still great, even if you know the ending. I think like that movie's been coming back up a lot for me. The Count of Monte Cristo's been coming up a lot.
Cristo's another classic.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
You always got The Princess Bride in there.
Yeah.
This is like some of these cult classics that kind of like built our childhood, I feel like,
Yeah.
in some ways.
Well, they're all, like, look at all those movies, and they're all timeless stories,
Yeah.
right? Like, Count of Monte Cristo is about revenge, which isn't exactly a kid-friendly
No.
theme, but it is what everyone feels that feeling when they've been wrong. You always want a revenge on somebody, but also a story at the end about forgiveness
Yes.
and letting your hate go and letting rage go and healing yourself. It's a great movie. It's got a great story to it too.
Absolutely fantastic story. I feel like not enough people watched those movies too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Count of Monte Cristo and especially A Knight's Tale. I feel like I'm surprised when I find people that have never seen them. They're like, what? And I'm like, have you been living under a rock?
Where have you been?
Right.
Got a good question.
Oh, yeah. What
for
is it?
Ryan from
Yeah.
Skylark. Do you like Goonies?
Goonies is one of my favorite movies of all time.
How's that make you feel, Dan?
Oh, no.
I absolutely love the Goonies.
Do you?
Yeah.
Did you see it as a kid or see it as an adult?
I saw it.
Both.
It was late single digit years is when I first
Okay.
saw it. And I saw it on TV and it was heavily edited and with a lot of commercials, but I love that movie. That's such a good movie.
That might have been almost a better way to be introduced to it in some ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes the TV edited
Yeah.
versions they used to kind of build. You know, you'd have that little break in there to commercials. So to give you a little time to do something else and get back into the story. It was,
Right.
It's kind of fun.
Go make mom mad or
Yeah.
do whatever. Yeah.
Right. Grab some more popcorn.
That's a great movie. I mean, you want to talk about quintessential like movie about outcasts overcoming odds, you know?
Yeah.
That's a classic. And as goofy as that movie is, I still love it.
Yeah, exactly. Dead things, Mikey. Dead things.
Dan loves it too, right, Dan?
No comment. Yeah.
No.
It's just not my favorite, but again, maybe I need to rewatch it because it's been 7 years since I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we discussed with the taste buds, right? Is it is that 4 years?
Yes.
I think it's like every 4 years your taste buds actually change.
I don't know. There's a lot of
Something
maybe
like
4,
that.
but
Fact
definitely
checker.
7 is consistent with a lot of things. Your hair,
Every
your
4 years, your taste bud changes.
Oh, okay.
taste,
Checked out.
movie taste, that sort of thing. Pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like on a second watching, you're still not gonna like it, but you might like it a little more than you did before. I don't know, maybe.
You were asking, do taste buds change every 4 years?
Yeah, that's what I
Is it 4 or 7?
Yikes.
This
Okay,
might be a
so
harder one
quick
to reason.
answer is our taste buds die and grow back about every 2 weeks.
Oh wow, okay.
But around 40 years of age,
But your tastes, like
buds.
food-wise.
Well,
Which is taste buds. I mean that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, how do you define taste? I mean, that's a.
stuff I taste.
I know, but I mean, it's more of a practical like taste bud. So they regrow every 2. I mean, because your cells regenerate. So
here's another potential answer.
Staying on target.
that's how it
registered-
goes.
I tried on the
Oh, nice.
end of the gun.
Yeah, it's fine.
A registered dietitian said every
getting
cell
there.
in the body regenerates every 7 to 10 years.
Oh, so
So maybe that's where.
that's where the 7 comes in.
Yeah. But taste buds change every 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then
okay.
around age 40, the process slows down.
Like everything else.
Yeah.
Right.
Around age 40. That's me how I know.
Breaking down.
Yeah, if you're not happy with the glaze, you can always go back
Right.
and just paint red aluminum right over it.
Yeah. So can we show them what you did there as the best we can? So you were
Well, yeah,
donut glazing the end
I
of the
was.
gun.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we have a regular piece of paper I can show in theory what it's supposed to look like?
Oh, we can get you one.
You can't
Yeah.
really see it through here
Like a.
Yeah, that's fine.
unless you zoom
That's
in.
fine.
Bam.
Does it have lines?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
fine. It doesn't matter.
Okay, it's fine. You got a pen? You want a pen or you want? Oh, you want a
No,
paint?
we're
No, he
gonna
wants a
do it with
paintbrush. Yeah, throw it to me. I'll catch it. Don't worry.
Here we go. Here we go. Thousands of.
Nice. Broken. All the paint's
Such
everywhere.
a good throw. I'm incredibly proud.
That was good.
Last
That was a
time he
good
was
throw.
on our show.
Yeah, we break everything.
I know.
Camera equipment.
That would be what happens on Stay on Target.
Right.
We go off. All right, so he's going to give us a demonstration. Can they see it from the above view there and see what you're doing? Yeah, I just want to make sure in frame.
Yeah.
Hi, in frame.
So that would be our first pass. on the gun barrel. And you can
Okay.
see how it's super transparent, super loose. We gotta wait for that to dry.
He put it in his mouth
He's
before.
eating
did.
paint right
I
now.
just want you to know that.
Just to have it. And then our second pass.
So you go back.
Yep.
You
Yep.
go. So
It's
I
So
layered.
see.
this would be the left side would be the end of the gun, the blaster barrel.
Okay, where you're
And
pointing
then
right
this
now.
would be towards the black.
So it gets
So it's layered.
more glazed as it goes back. It gets
'Cause
more
you're-
layers.
You're just stacking transparent layers of paint on top of each other, and that's not quite dry yet.
So to give it that kind of effect, that because it's worn more at the end, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's giving the effect that more of that gloss or paint or whatever's been stripped off of it
Yep.
due to that blaster firing and heating up the end of the barrel.
Correct. And if you look at reference photos of the E11 Delta, ones from the movie, you can actually see there's a really good shot of them in the trenches, all the death troopers from the side, and the guy closest to the camera is actually holding an E11 Delta, and you can see all the detail.
Ooh, I like that.
But that's essentially what you're doing with glazing.
Yeah.
You can see that was 5 passes, super quick, super sloppy, and you can always go back and correct it.
Right.
How do you correct it if you've made like
You paint back over that.
just
redo
do it
it.
again?
Yeah.
Oh, so just put another layer of black.
Yep.
Or I guess
silver,
silver
yeah.
towards the end, but
Yep.
huh.
So, and it's easier with regular acrylic paints because let's say if I was doing like this was a red base color and I was trying to glaze black over it, I could go back and glaze with red in the other direction, so moving right to left if you're looking on the paper, and that would bring it more towards the red side. So,
Okay.
and that's why it takes so long in competition pieces, why guys are spending hundreds of hours painting these minis, is because they're going back and making extremely minute corrections to these blending techniques.
Wow.
So
So the blending, is that the most time consuming part, or what would you say is the most?
blending and detail work.
Okay.
So and glazing isn't the only way to blend. You can do wet blending. There's tons of different techniques on how to do it. But for glazing, for me, it takes quite a long time, and especially when you're working in such small areas and just trying to get that blend just right. It doesn't take much just to screw something up in a heartbeat.
Right.
So
Yeah.
But with true metallics glazing, it's super difficult because when you thin the true metallic, you're basically thinning it down to individual little metal flakes, and trying to blend that out is almost impossible. I'm not saying it can't be done because guys do it, but
Wow.
Just takes practice.
wow, it's a practice.
That's crazy, man. You know, it's the fun part about this stream and even you coming on is just the amount of information I'm learning. Like, you know, you go into a new thing, you're like, oh, that doesn't seem,
Terribly
too
difficult.
crazy. But then you
I made a mistake.
yeah, but then you find out all these layers, and I've been really enjoying learning. That's been also the fun of jumping on your channel and learning how, like, something that seems like nigh impossible for me to make, or even dream of making, or even understanding how to make something.
Right.
It was fun, even especially watching that base you made. I was like, man, I think I could do that in the right amount of time. And
it's accessible, and you make your own standards.
right.
So who cares what anybody thinks about how your mini's painted, as long as you know
As
you
long as their color is correct.
right. Okay. As long as you're happy with the mini that you're painting,
sorry.
that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Right.
Yeah.
So you did another glaze there?
Yeah, I just painted over it again, and then I'm gonna try that again.
Dude,
I can try.
that's looking awesome. Oh, you know what? Let's put it
And
against
it's
the white
like,
background.
and it's like super
so you can kinda
tiny.
See.
So you have to translate this to that.
And we'll try and get some close-up shots and maybe share them in the community so you guys can see.
See all my mistakes. I mean.
No. So you can see a little bit up close on the project.
You'll notice, because even with your peepers on, you'll be looking at like 3 to 4 times magnification. You'll be like, oh man, that looks great. And then you'll get in with a still of a photo super close. You're like, oh my God.
You're just like, what did I do?
You're like, what happened?
disappointed in
You spent,
yourself.
like, 5 hours on this face. And then you take a picture of it, looks all haggard, and you're like,
Yeah.
Gotta
It's
start
like
all
all
over.
the details
So-
there, and you take a picture, and you can see the whites of his eyes.
Yeah.
So
Not
now,
in a good way.
so now, are you taking super close pictures as you're going, and then like knowing so
Yeah.
that when you get that final product, you can?
So I'll get something that looks a little off, and I can't tell through the peepers what's going on actually. So I'll be like, okay, let's get in with a photograph.
Yeah.
And then the photograph, because it's so close, will actually give me all the detail I need,
Wow.
and then I translate that to viewing it in person.
Mm-hmm.
And it can really help when you're really trying to work on really minute details.
Yeah.
But then again, it's at your point. It's if you want to take it that far, and you don't have to.
Right.
If you're looking at it like that and you're like, it looks fine, you're done. And be happy with it, and you should.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think especially Nick's learned how intensive this can be.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I've seen ones that like they do it with a flamethrower, like, and the colors all
Oh,
different
yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end because
Yeah.
it's been used,
Yeah.
so it changes the color of the metal, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
That's
that's
yeah.
ridiculous.
That's
There's
ridiculous.
so many talented people out there that paint
Right.
these. It's nuts.
KG asked, were these 3D printed?
Nope. These were actually cast, and the box is outside.
We can get more details on that in a minute, but to answer that question,
Nope,
3D
they're
cast.
Nope, they're cast. They're not 3D printed. They come in a mold. So there's two halves of a mold, and they pour whatever material, plastic, they decide. So that's how those are made. But KG, if you're interested in 3D printed, there's tons of Etsy sellers that sell all kinds of variations of any kind of genre you could think of for minis. And they're generally way less expensive than something you'll get from a big corporation.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's almost exclusively where I buy all my miniatures from now is Etsy. I find a really solid seller with a good 3D printer and just buy from them. And it's dimes on the dollar from what I'd be paying from somebody else.
Wow. Good tips here too, especially for people
I'm
wanting
curious.
to get
Whoops, Ryan. On the
Whoops.
whole, is it a fairly inexpensive or expensive hobby as hobbies go?
So it depends on what kind of scale you're getting into for a game. So if you're getting into like Warhammer Fantasy, you're building armies of hundreds of miniatures, and you're paying anywhere from $1 to $5 a mini. So you can get up into the hundreds of dollars easily. And then if you're buying from a big company like GW, you can get in the thousands easily. But if you're playing a game like Mordheim or Legion that has a limited number of minis, the barrier of entry is really low. So yeah, I think I built my Mordheim Warband, my dwarf one, I think I paid $40 for everything.
Okay.
And then the biggest cost was the amount of hours I took modifying every single miniature. I sculpted backpacks, and then the dwarf on my
man.
YouTube channel, I sculpted his horns, and
You actually?
Yeah.
Oh, you made those.
the horns on his
Oh,
helmet
wow.
are all sculpted.
I did not know you actually added to it. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother.
Oh yeah,
That's a whole nother video on
yeah.
its own right there.
because it's not just painting; it's customizing and sculpting and building.
What did you make that material? What material did you use?
So
for
I took I cut a piece of paper clip, bent it into a U shape,
as your
drilled through his head, put the paper clip through, and then took an
Ouch.
epoxy putty, and then sculpted the horns out of that.
epoxy putty. Okay.
So it's
Wow.
typically called green stuff. That's the most famous type of epoxy putty, but it's a blue and yellow epoxy putty, and you mix it together and it becomes green, and then it hardens like a normal epoxy would over time.
That's
So,
cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Sculpting's great. It can be infuriating at times.
Right. Oh, I
Yeah.
bet. Yeah. Yeah. I would probably end up just smashing it into pieces out of a while because I wouldn't understand what the heck I was doing.
The more it's like anything else, just the more you practice, the more you become accustomed to the motor
Right.
functions, and
Right.
the easier it becomes. So it's definitely not a hobby that you sprint at and get good. So
No.
it's a get good over time.
Which is most things in life, though. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
actually very rare for you to be absolutely excellent at something right off the bat.
Right.
Mastery doesn't happen on accident.
Right.
Yeah.
It takes hard work, kids, people,
Yeah.
to get where you want. But through that hard work
A
and
lot of
dedication, you grow.
Self-loathing.
Well, I mean,
A little bit.
you learn more. You learn about yourself. You learn about the task.
Right.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, like Methuse's comment there, there's no mistake, just learning and what you like.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or what was it? Like when he says, I didn't fail at this. I just
Talking about
learned.
Ever After.
I just learned. Was it ever after?
Yeah.
I just learned how not to do it.
Da Vinci said that.
Was it
yeah,
Da
towards
Vinci?
the
Yeah.
end.
It's a great line though. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, you didn't fail. You just learned a way not to do it.
Yeah,
now you
exactly.
got to figure out a way to do it right.
But I think also, who was it?
I hope my kids are listening to
Edison
this.
Or
Any of my kids are
whoever said
listening to
it
this.
as well.
Yeah, it was
real life.
making a light bulb. Right.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Found
was,
out 100 ways not to make a light bulb.
Yeah.
right. Man. Also, Ryan, I did have another question for you. Do you know of any Star Wars tabletop miniature games? Like
This one.
Star Wars Legion.
it is Legion.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's probably the most popular one.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
They had, excuse me, they had X-Wing, but they
Oh,
discontinued that.
Yeah.
You can still find the minis or people who 3D print Star Wars proxies. They can't call them Star Wars because,
Right. It's
right. But you can still find them online.
Fantasy Wars.
And you can still find a lot of people who are selling the rules for X-Wing, or they'll have used packages you can buy. So,
right.
but Legion's probably the most popular right now.
Other way. There you go.
Nice. Okay, cool. I was just, for anybody looking, because that's actually something I've been kind of looking for. Like if I was going to dive into a miniature world, I think I would want it to be Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just felt like there's not as much going on with that. It'd be cool to get that same feeling within Star Wars as well. Like we were talking about, such a big, expansive
Well,
world.
it's a huge, huge universe. And I thought we talked about earlier last year at some point about Star Wars RPG, and I'm not sure if that's supported or not anymore.
Okay.
But it doesn't necessarily need to be, right? Like just like Mordheim, or you could even take an active system like D&D,
Oh, right.
and just adapt it. And instead of doing magic, you
Do
are in Star Wars.
The Force.
Right.
Right.
I know. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
I'd love to make something like this more popular as well, but in Star Wars, because I feel like it's such an expansive world. You could really flesh it out and create such fun stories.
Oh yeah, there'd be great stories you can make.
And is that an element of tabletop gaming? The story, is a story a decent part of it?
So wargaming, not so much. It's basically
Okay.
you got two armies are facing off in this scenario, and then they fight. Mordheim has an RPG element, which another great thing about the Mordheim community is that people will take that and add or subtract the RPG element as much as their little play group wants to do.
Okay.
So you could have like part war bands fighting, and then you spend role playing your guys, buying new gear, scouring the city, and just following what those guys are doing in a role play style. Some groups do that, some don't. Some just like the skirmish game, and then they roll the post game, and then it's done.
Okay.
So it's different for every group that you're involved in. So if you are looking to start a group for Star Wars or Mordheim or anything like that, talk to your fellow players and see what they want to do, see what they're comfortable with, and go from there, because you can take it as far as you want.
I just think that would be some fun prime content
stuff.
as well in the future potentially.
Yes, I think I did a little bit better
There you go.
On that glazing?
getting there. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good, man.
It's looking like a donut.
First glaze job.
Right?
I'm getting hungry for donuts, people.
No, bud.
Is there anywhere that's open that has donuts?
Oh my goodness. I'm sure. You can get gas station donuts.
Yeah.
Not that those are the best, but I mean, if you're just looking for a fix
need
until
a
the
fix.
morning.
Like some cardboard with frosting on
Yeah.
it.
Right, yeah.
I didn't say it was the greatest
Cardboard
fix.
with glue on it.
Yeah. Dude, all right, nice.
Nice.
Good job, man.
Are we pretty
Excellent.
much, where are we at?
That's pretty much done.
Yeah.
What else do we got to do? What do you think? Are you thinking?
So if you want, we can't cover it today, but you
Okay.
could also, this is something I have to do on my minis as well for my Death Troopers, is put what's called flocking. So you'll notice in the scene in Rogue One that you'll see on the planet, they'll have a lot of tall green grass, and what they have is a thing called flocking. You'll statically charge the miniature. The other particles, which are just little bits of plastic basically that are really thin, look like grass, will then be attracted to the charged mini. And once you put some glue down, those particles will stand up on end and they'll look just like grass.
Yep. I've seen that before
Yeah.
on videos. I've never actually witnessed it.
Yeah, I don't
done.
recommend doing it inside because it's 100 times worse than glitter.
It
gets
is. Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. Gets everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere.
Dude, I love this for the fact that we got the. For me, that shine. I know it's not your absolute favorite, but that different look between
Right.
materials.
Yeah, contrast.
Yeah. is really selling it for me for the
Yep.
fact that, like you said before, those joints are that matte black, which
Right.
makes sense and looks more fabric.
Cloth, like a
yeah,
cloth, yep.
and then that armor really pops.
Yep.
And man, that really sells it.
Yeah. Contrast, if anything you can learn out of miniature painting if you're looking to get into it is you always are trying to push contrast
Yep.
as much as possible because the details are so small. You want to create a caricature of what you see in real life, and that you can only do that by just blowing those details on the contrast out.
That's awesome, man.
Okay, Dustin, your turn.
Oh, I think we're
Only take
good.
another 3 hours.
Yeah,
We're
no, I
good.
think we're good. I think we'll stick with just Nick tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe on another iteration, maybe Ryan can show me how to do it again
Yeah.
with something.
I'm
Get
gonna
some
go for a
Ewoks.
super close up.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna get a super close up. But and any questions? I think we're getting semi close to the end here. So if you have any questions or if we missed anything, oh yeah, that black background probably help.
It will. Should.
Ooh, nice. Oh, to the right. Oh, find it. Oh, baby. Look at that.
Epic.
Now you're seeing it.
Right?
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So you guys can now see kind of what I was talking about and what Ryan was talking about there, that contrast.
Yeah.
What about that glazing on that gun? Is there...
Nah, I didn't put any glazing in the gun.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I could have put, we're trying to do the, metal wearing out, but I couldn't do it.
Oh, the weathering.
I was like, oh, man.
Well, I mean, it's your first time, dude.
Yeah,
So,
that's your first. It turned out a lot better than my first mini.
Right? What'd your first mini look
yeah,
like?
what was your first mini?
It was a couple of rat men on a machine gun.
Ooh, ratlings?
Yep, rattling gunners. I
Dude.
still have that mini. I saved it.
That,
Nice.
Yeah,
So
as
I
a...
got it right in my painting studio, and every time I paint, I look at that
Gotta
mini.
do a 360 of that there, Nick, so they can see all the detail
360.
all over. Even with that pouch, you got the
The little button on there.
Yep.
yeah, that button, man, that looks good.
Mm.
Again, that fine detail and contrast really sells it.
It does.
And they'll see it too. Like once we get even, I mean, that's a great close up, Dan. But even when we get like a photo close up as well, you'll be able to see even more detail.
That's a Death Trooper.
That's incredible. Good work, Nick. I mean,
Thanks.
first time. I mean, impressive.
Now I just gotta learn all the other stuff. Like,
Can you see
putting
the
it
green
together.
eyes? I'm
Yeah.
looking for those green eyes.
Zoom back in.
I'm looking for the green. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
You see it?
Oh wow. Yeah, it's subtle.
It's
It
super
is.
subtle.
Very
very
subtle.
And in the
but-
movies, you can't even tell.
Yeah.
No,
They
but
look
they're-
black.
Unless
they
you look
like-
really
yeah.
close
Right.
at it.
And that's
Like,
why I did the DLT-19 guy with that
This one?
lighter green.
Yeah,
No,
the
no,
one.
the other one. Sorry, I was like, that
so
one.
you can actually tell that he has green eyes. Yeah.
Here, you can take it. Oh yeah, I saw that earlier. Yeah, it looks looks fantastic. I don't know if we can get that.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you could turn it and show them that card. That way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if they'll be able to see that.
Yeah, it's real fine.
It's real.
We'll take a photo of that one though, and they'll be able to see that as well.
I think this is the one for the thumbnail.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, this
Yep.
was. I just did exactly the same process Nick did, just to get it ready for the tabletop.
Yep.
You went with a little bit more subtle even with that armor, didn't you? A little.
Yeah, I put a satin instead of a
Satin.
gloss. Yeah.
What's the range there? You go like a high gloss is just high gloss, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes
And then all the way down to ultra matte for your
Ultra matte.
varnishes.
Yeah.
right. I've been painting recently in my house, so we kind of went through
Oh yeah.
a lot of those different.
Eggshell and
Yeah,
matte,
I was
yeah.
like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
a little different.
Same
but
thing with minis.
That's crazy.
There we go.
That's
Awesome.
yours, Nick.
It's done.
It's all yours.
Mine?
It's part of your Death Trooper squad.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
It's so small.
Any last questions from the chat here?
Awesome.
Fact checker. I just want to make sure we get everybody. If anybody has any last minute questions, let us know.
Yeah, I don't think we missed any questions.
Okay,
But
perfect.
Skylark said, "Artists of a feather flock together,"
Nice.
and yeah, they're liking the green eyes. That's
Mhm.
unique.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's how you do tabletop Death Troopers.
Nice.
That was great. That was
Now we
great.
gotta
yeah.
get.
real time.
A bunch of these.
Real
But-
time, how long it actually takes to make with some professional help along the way, of
Right.
course, makes everything. It's always nicer when you have a guided tour. Really helps. So
Someone having to help you along because a lot of people don't.
Right.
You know?
right.
They just have to figure it
Struggling
out.
and figuring it out.
Yep.
And if you want more help with certain things, I'd say if you haven't yet, I don't know why. If anybody hadn't, go subscribe to Grimm's Tower, and he'll show you along the way. Ryan will show you along the way. He's got more content coming. It's going to be great stuff, and just go over there, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things on his channel. It's well deserved. As you can see here tonight, this was just touching the surface.
It was.
Just
yes.
glazing the surface here
Glazing the donut.
of there's layers deep that he's got over there, and the wealth of knowledge that I know is coming in the future. So that is what
There's this page.
I'm excited about. Definitely subscribe to his channel. Like it all, man. It is great stuff. Look at that. That's the one you made the horns.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the shields.
Custom too.
finished, Yep.
Dang, that
Back, yeah.
that adds like a whole nother layer. I didn't even realize.
I didn't know it either. I was like, oh, it's just, comes from a
Yeah, a kit. Like
kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
is
the bases, that was my early iteration of the bases of the video that you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see all the bricks you can see on the side, but now I've cleaned that up and I've actually got a additional step that's going to be coming in part 2 of that video.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
going to spruce that side up.
I'm looking forward to that.
Very good.
We'll have to do down the road. Follow along. We'll try and follow your tour on or your.
Have a Bob Ross.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
that'd be hilarious. All right, cool.
Nice.
I think
Awesome,
we're
Good
getting
stuff.
close. We're pretty much at the end here. So thank you again so much, Ryan,
Yeah,
for
thanks for having me
thanks.
on.
coming
It was
on the
fun.
show.
Yeah,
Good
it
job, Nick.
was. It definitely was.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm excited to see more, and I'll try my hand at it one of these days. It'll be a shaky hand, not like Nick. Nick is the artist here. I am just,
I have a friend who has genetic tremors,
oh wow,
and he actually does this stuff.
really?
Yeah.
He just figures it out. Like,
Yeah.
can you?
Well, no, it's he just paints.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's impressive. That's even more impressive.
Yeah.
It is,
'Cause they're so
and they're really
teeny
good.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like the stuff he does.
You just work with what you got. And you can make it great.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. What'd you have, fact checker?
Well, Skylar asked, how did you learn to do this, Ryan?
Oh, great question.
A lot of time, a lot of struggle. That's how I learned how to do it.
Just taught yourself,
Yeah.
basically.
Self-taught.
YouTube helped a lot. Actually, if I can, real quick, 2 channels that I want to recommend if you are learning how to do miniature painting, and ones that really helped me along is Dr. Faust Painting Clinic, and then Vince Venturuela are both phenomenal miniature painters, and they have hundreds upon hundreds of in-depth tutorials, step-by-step, on how to do whatever the heck you want to do with miniature painting. They're both amazing channels, so check them out if you're learning how to get into it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
These guys awesome.
What was
Okay.
the other one?
Vince,
Veins.
V-I-N-C-E, Ven, V-E-N-T-R-U, right there.
Yep, first one. Venturuela.
Ventuela.
Venturuela. That's what it is.
Nice.
Yeah. Awesome painter, old school painter, gold Deamer winner.
Yeah.
He
Wow.
just does
Oh,
great.
so he's won many
Yeah.
a competition.
Yep.
Okay.
Man, in competition. But the great thing is about Vince and Dr. Faust is that they just take at least once a week. They have a super high quality video on how to do something.
Right.
And if you have a question, they have a video on it. So
Dude, that's awesome.
It's gonna roll away.
Ooh,
There.
nice.
Nice.
All right. Wow. Well, I think that does it, man. That was great. There's some different content here for you guys, but I think everybody enjoyed it. I had a fun time. And to everybody who's watching back later, don't forget to comment below if you enjoyed this content. Like, comment, subscribe, and let us know if you guys liked it. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to see more content like this in the future, first go over to Grimm's Tower and subscribe there, and you'll see way more of it. But if you want to see more here, we'd love to have Ryan back on, and we want to hear from you guys. And just thank him for coming on the channel and supporting him as well. So, all right, guys, that was fun. It was a good time.
It was.
Looking forward to the next one. I feel like
Right.
we're gonna have more of this in the future. So,
Maybe we'll actually play one of these days
oh, I'd love that. I'd love that. Absolutely.
That'd be
for
cool.
Mordheim.
I think we had a question earlier, Matt. Matt, yikes, Nick, it's late. Sorry.
What?
Sorry. Are you now switching from Legos to minis?
Probably. Well, I mean, I'll get
You'll
both.
do both.
You'll do
okay.
both.
Okay.
Screw it, let's do both.
I've got money.
Wow.
I've got more money than brains right now.
Ladies.
Get out of me, guy.
Get out of me, God. Oh, man. I see the chat's liking it, and they're saying thanks, Ryan, for coming on. So, yeah, from all of us here, thank you so much again.
Yeah,
Next time
dude.
we'll see you
It's
guys.
been fun.
Thanks
Have
for
a
having me
nice
on.
time.
Appreciate it.
Dan, thanks for running the camera. Fact
Yeah.
checker, always killing it. Nick, you were the talent tonight. You did great, man. That was
tried.
fantastic. Way better than I could have done. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for showing up. We'll be back live Wednesday, covering all different kinds of stuff. You never know what you're going to get on Stay on Target. That's the irony of the show. We appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for following along. We had a lot of fun. So we're going to get up on out of here.
Get up on it. Go get some donuts.
Go get some donuts. I think that's the true thing. Get some donuts and do some glazing.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to always stay on target.
Stay up all night, gotta work now. Make up my mind and it turns around. Say that I'm fine till I burn out. Thinking this money sounded so nice. Ambush here written in the strobe lights. Pay anything for the high price. This life feels like the sunny water. Wet my lips, but the sun's stronger. Pour it out, if I'm being honest. It's just not everything you promise. Running out, drying out, what did you say? What did you say when I told you? Maybe this wrist wasn't gold proof. Packing my bags like it's all true. Hard to make friends when I'm focused on all these bars that I'm holding. I like the cold, but it's lonely, yeah. This life feels like the sunny water. Wet my lips, but the sun's stronger. Pour it out, if I'm being honest. It's just not everything you promised. Running out, drying out, what did you say? Throw it all away, we could find that time to block out all the bells now and make it right. No, wait, gotta drink what's mine, gotta bleach my hair till my pain's on fire. Wet my lips, but the sun's stronger. Pour it out, if I'm being honest, yeah. It's just not everything you promised. Running out, drying out, what did you say? Sunny water. Sunny water. Sunny water.
The Berliners out there.
Yeah.
Get some donuts.
Donuts. What kind of donut do you think the Death Troopers like?
Something, what's dark? Like
The devil's food?
all
Chocolate?
chocolate.
Burnt
Yeah.
donuts.
Burnt donuts. Yeah, they fry them
Burnt
first with their
donuts.
blasters, on the end of their blasters. And then they extra glaze them.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
It gives them probably some superpower or something.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks for the super chat, Hunter. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Catch you on the next one. Gonk out.
Go glaze some donuts.
Go glaze some donuts. All right, we're in the behind the scenes segment here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you